Reminders from last session. The party desperately needs to make money. I believe those were... that was everyone's words, actually, shouted at me almost simultaneously. You wanted to ask around Whiterun about the cart. Jomo wants to find an alchemy set from somewhere. Arnulf and Yuhnbric are getting a free meal from the tavern lass, whose name escapes me, because I did not do my background research pre-sesh. Young Nicholas wanted a note about a Khajiit petting zoo.
Oh,
yes. Yuhnbric wants to find materials / a blacksmith for constructing his time distortion detection device and also the auto shovel. And then we also have Revere back, who pops back in with a slurp. I don't think there's any critical information that you need, Revere.
Where are we?
You're in Whiterun. You're in the Bannered Mare.
Ah, okay.
So the...
Not the unbannered mare, the uncultured whore.
What the shit?
That's next door.
What happened? So the Khajiits stole the claw, but then a wandering near-nude vagrant did them a favour, seemingly out of the goodness of his heart, and convinced the rest of Riverwood that they were dead in exchange for the claw. So yeah, you scarpered out of town and linked up outside town, and the Khajiit fed you a story which was actually pretty effective, it seemed, of like, yeah, no, we kind of heard what was up, and we fled into the night, but it had nothing to do with us. So you've given them the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, Thumboy's slopes, like,
oh, that's very true.
Oh, shit.
Wait, what?
Oh,
This is going to cause issues.
Alright, so in that case, you have an NPC, I guess.
But you have a Khajiit with thumbs.
No,
you have Revere.
Thumbs.
But you
He's
don't
not loyal.
Benji, not Benji, sorry, Ollie, different people. It's the curly moustaches. You look so similar now. Ollie, who's our Black Crusade NPC?
What? Mansploder?
No, the other one.
Dio.
Dio, thank you. There we go. So you have Dio.
We got Dio Brando.
I don't think we've ever given Dio a second name.
No, Dio has only ever survived, died, and lived with a first name and never a second name.
He usually doesn't last long, but yeah, so the two of you Khajiits have an NPC. His name is Dio. He is a particularly dumb Khajiit. He's not really following what's going on. His sole purpose is to provide you with thumb support.
Wait, did you buy someone?
Wait, is that thumb and translation support?
Yes, he can also... he's a Suthe-Rat. So he can translate for you, and will do so without malice, and otherwise follows you around, but he's pretty dumb. Standard NPC rules, so he rolls at 30 or under for everything that's reasonable for him to be able to do. I'm sure they actually probably have pretty good NPC rules in this, but I haven't read them. So that's that. Right, what were we doing? As we'd ended last session, Yuhnbric had just fixed up an amazing well in the back of the Bannered Mare. And I guess this means that Revere has also been given... God, what's it called? Free room and board for the night.
I was given free room and board for the week, if I remember rightly, but only given one free meal for the evening. And free breakfast.
Fair, there you go. So you can have a... So Revere, Arnulf, and Yuhnbric have free meal for the evening and board for the week.
I've schlorped into worse circumstances.
That's true, you have. You're echoing on someone.
Things Callum has said after many a drunken night out in Gloucestershire.
I've schlorped into worse circumstances.
Wakes up in the morning. Well, I've schlorped into worse circumstances than this.
And I have thumbs now.
So that's something. Hey, Catclop, thumbs up.
If thumbs got me into this situation, damn it, they can get me out of it.
Thumbs.
I declare thumbs off, please.
All right, so let's not talk about thumbs for the next 2 hours. What are y'all doing? You wanted to scout around town about your what's the cart situation, and otherwise earn some dollar. Oh well, earn some septim.
Well, I'm happy to go first because that's what people say when they want to go first and don't want to tell other people they should go last.
No, that's
I would like to ask the innkeeper where their finest or second finest blacksmith is.
Cool. So I believe the innkeep was Hulda, who is an elderly Nordic woman. Though, as we established last time, I'm not doing the elderly West Country accent because I cannot do an elderly female West Country accent.
Can you do an elderly female Nordic accent?
No. I can't really do any of the many Nordic accents at all.
Accepted.
So yeah, you sort of waltz back into the front room of the Bannered Mare, up to Hulda, pass her your question. She gives you a little laugh. Well, I can tell you right now, you're not going to get an appointment with the most skilled. I don't know if you know your Nordic history, my elven friend, she says somewhat pointedly. But
I'm somewhat unfamiliar with it, my lovely lady.
well, Whiterun is the home of the Companions, and more specifically, the Skyforge. It's the greatest smithy in all of Skyrim. However, there is... oh god, what's it called? And she speedily, mentally checks her virtual...
She stops for a minute and
Unofficial
seems to be
Elder Scrolls
scrolling through things.
Her eyes roll up into the back of her head.
She begins foaming red gold liquid, and then... Ah, yes, I've remembered it now. That's the remembering process complete. No, there's the War Maidens down near the gates. It's a perfectly serviceable smithy.
Could you tell me some more about the Companions? I've not heard of them before.
I don't know if they may actually have been around in the First Era. They're quite old. Yeah, actually, they must have been. You might have heard of them, because Ysgramor killed Snow Elves, and Snow Elves were already in rebellion by the time you disappeared. So
would they be would they be considered superior forgers to myself and my race?
Oh,
or would
God,
I be...
you'd probably be more confused that they're still a thing. Sorry, Nicholas, could you stop breathing into your mic, please? Yeah, you'd probably be confused that they're still a thing. You would remember the Companions as one of the only, in fact, possibly from your point of view, the only notable group of human troublemakers. Like, if there was anyone who actually maybe might have posed at least a little bit of a casual threat to the Dwemer Holds, it was the murderous, genocidal psychopaths known as the Companions.
Okay, so knowing that, I bristle a little bit when she mentions the Companions. And do you know where I could perhaps have a look at them?
Yeah, the mead hall of Yuhnbric is up in Dragon's Reach. Though I think you might need to look a little bit more the part. And she gestures at your clothing before they let you up there.
I assure you, my engineering skills will make me more than the part for what they need.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Jarl's guards will agree with that. You look tatty, mate.
I guess they're only yardsticks long and I'm 3. That didn't have to make any sense.
I do what you're talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Character her out. She goes back to... It produces some embroidery from under the table and sort of aggressively goes at it in a I don't think I want to be in this conversation type of a way.
I feel like that's every time me and you talk.
I mean, take the hint, Ollie. It's been years. Big love.
5 years of this bullshit and he still GMs for me.
5 years.
Ah.
Take the hint.
5 years I've been trying to escape these sessions and he's
All right.
still there with...
Let's pace.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm done.
Cool. Anyone else?
I want to go look for an opportunity to use my archaeology.
Yeah, so I believe Ferengar Secret Fire, if I remember his name correctly, was your main point of contact in the town. He would likely be giving you a commission more than anything else, like charging you to go out and excavate something.
I'd like to go with Yuhnbric. I've always wanted to meet the companions.
Okay, well that means the three of you are actually heading in the same direction, because you'd need to get up to Dragon's Reach. Khajiit, what are you guys doing?
Where were we again? What were we doing at last check? Were we with the party, or...?
You're with the party, you're in the Banded Mare, you negotiated for... So, currently you have Catclop staying out in the stables, but he's got a moderately comfortable stall.
Oh, yeah.
And then, presumably Dio is sleeping on the floor, and Zanzarim is sleeping on the bed of Zanzarim's private room that he has.
Perfect.
I don't think the petting zoo is going to work without Carl around.
I'm just going to follow the archaeologist around.
I guess I'll follow them as well. Zanzarim can ride on me, I guess, if he wants.
Sure.
That's what I'm there for.
I'll put my little blanket on your back. Somehow. Get thumbs on it.
Oh, we have our thumbs NPC. He can do it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Now, what voice do we give Dio? Because I have been giving him the Dawn of War Heretic voice in Black Crusade, but that's not super appropriate here.
I feel like the Oblivion Guard is perfect.
I can't...
You know the fan voice? The fanboy guy who follows you around and I think Oblivion?
It's the grand champion!
I actually don't know him so well. I didn't really play much of Oblivion. I played the shit out of Morrowind, and I played a moderate amount of Skyrim, but Oblivion mostly passed me by.
Oblivion was my fave.
Oblivion was really good.
Well, I never played Morrowind.
It's the worst constructed game for so many reasons. Young Nicholas, I swear to God, please stop breathing into your fan. Into your mic.
Don't breathe into your fan either, but still.
Yeah, don't. Either way. But if you have to pick one... Cool, so saying, yeah, no, Morrowind is terribly constructed, but the world building is so good. Yeah, much enjoyment. Cool. In that case, we'll give him. We'll make him overly formal. Allow me to tie that on for you, my master. And bowing and scraping, Dio moves forwards to tie your little cloth thing, with shards torn from his own shirt, to the neck of the cinch. And then your little troop proceeds out into Whiterun. The town is moderately busy. In fact, there's more than a few people here. You can see a lot of them seem to be looking a little bit haggard, a little bit desperate. And as you look down the main street towards the main gates, you can see a slow but steady trickle of people gradually flooding in. Can I get... Do we have an observe? What is our observation skill?
There is an observe.
Perception?
Oh, yeah, it is observe. So I'll take observe over persuade from... let's have a d6 first. Who's... Oh, I suppose they're not going to do it to the big cat. Cool. Young Nicholas, give me a d4, please. D4, cool. So... Yuhnbric, can I get observe over perception, please?
I do not have that trained.
Minus 10 in that case.
So observe is over perception. So in which case, I think I actually make that. Yeah. Degree, 28, 30. I actually made that with 2 degrees of success, I think.
Yeah,
no, 1 degree.
You're
1 degree.
pushing through the marketplace, trying to keep your little group together. People are giving the tiger at the back a wide berth, but... sorry, just paranoid for a second. Yeah, they're giving the tiger at the back a wide berth, but they aren't actually paying anywhere near so much attention to those of you at the front. And you feel something brush by your purse. When you look down and see a hand, a small hand, like halfway inside, you have about a split second to react.
I have my wrench, and because it's a wrench, it has that grip function, right? So I go wrench, grip the hand.
You're just walking around town with your wrench out.
Do you not?
Well, no, because
You might have to fix something.
having
In which case, I guess I grab the wrist, and I'm there like, not today, young scavenger boy or girl.
Yeah, your hand flies out, and with a wrench-like grip, at the least, just latches around the tiny hand and squeezes hard. You deliver your one-liner, and the small girl who it is attached to squeaks in terror. Please, sir, I'm so hungry. I just wanted a few coins to buy some bread.
Do I have any food on me?
It's your inventory.
I suppose. I mean, but I had the
You haven't.
If you bought rations, you bought rations. If you didn't buy rations, you didn't buy rations.
I give her 1 coin. But before I let go of her hand, I tell her, if I have any questions and would like to know some answers to, is there anywhere I could find you in the future?
She looks confused but grateful as you allow her to keep a coin in.
I
your
whisper
still-
in her ear that it's also, if you find the right person, it's worth 10 coins. I want to whisper that in a non-creepy way for the man.
Even the stench just.
I just don't want the
That
rest of
one
the
right
party
there.
to hear that my coins are worth 10 each.
Okay. She looks up at you, terrified, desperately wanting to get away from this situation, as more and more people are looking around and kind of memorizing her face. I usually hang around here, but I might... Please let me go.
I let her hand go with 1 coin.
And the tiny pickpocket flees, taking off at an almost astonishing pace for someone
I'll
so
subtract
tiny.
1 coin from my inventory.
Oh, you can have a luck point back as well for your pity,
Oh, okay.
if you were missing one.
Oh, okay. I think I can actually gain 1 back. Thank you.
There is a god of luck, and I think he looks better on... I forget what his name is. Callum?
Sorry?
Who's the god of luck?
Not Zenithar.
Nocturne is good fortune.
Nocturne's a Daedra.
Oh, yeah.
Not RK. Could be RK. Think so?
Arcade's dead people, isn't he?
Oh yeah, shit he is.
Ah, well. Anywho, point is, there is... I forget his name, but there is a god of luck, and there are certain people who he looks more favourably on, and I'm pretty sure one of them is, like, small child pickpockets.
Well, I actually didn't have a luck point to gain back. I don't think I've spent one yet.
Ah,
Stendar.
But I'm
Stendar,
happy.
The vigil lad.
Stendar, god of mercy, justice, charity, luck.
Oh, fair. There you go. So Stendar approves.
Hogar approves.
No. That's not... The character's name was Hodor. If there's a blessing of Stendar in the book, you can have it for the rest of the day. I don't know if there is, but feel free to take a look. Cool, and then you sort of continue to make your way through the marketplace. Everything's still a bit cramped. There are still people flooding in. You can hear more than a few talking about war and a brewing conflict on the horizon. A lot of the people surrounding you seem to be not necessarily refugees at this point, but people who are preemptively taking their goods and livestock and running for the safety of heavily fortified Whiterun. It would take more than just 12 guys running at the front gates to break Whiterun.
But not many more.
Take at least 11.
It takes at least one Dragonborn with a low-level sword.
I think it's actually only about 8 guys in the Siege of Whiterun mission. So I love all of your confidences. Cool. As you get to the sort of the outskirts of Dragon's Reach, not Dragon's Reach, it's the Cloud District first, isn't it? Yep. The Cloud District dividing from... Is it the steps at the bottom of Whiterun? The Plains District. So it's Plains District at the bottom for the poor people and the middle class, Cloud District for the upper class, Dragon's Reach for like the most nobles. So you get to the gateway to the Cloud District, and you are stopped by the guards at the entrance. They give a squint, and I suppose Arnulf was leading the charge. So, name.
My son.
Sorry, that cut out your name on my end, so I only got my son. I know what you said.
Arnulf Finson, my son.
The guard, I don't think I've... And then the other guard on duty sort of snaps a finger at him. No, yeah, you've heard of him. He's the nerd.
I take offence at that.
You can take all the offence you like, nerd. Anywho, he's on the list. He's allowed through. And they hold up a hand for Revere. Who's he?
He's my travelling companion.
I'm with him.
I thought you were with me, my good sir.
Oh no.
You're sort of just tangentially involved, mate.
Oh.
I jump off Big Cat's back and just run through.
The other guard on duty just... You're not getting your cat back. He'll come back on his own, but I'm not chasing that, and you're not getting in for it. And like fuck is the big un coming in. Alright, you can have this lad here, but he's gonna have to stay under your watch, nerd.
I just walk through.
No, the guard firmly puts his hand on your chest. And
but I'm a nerd.
What business do you have in the Cloud District?
You see, I am a massive nerd, and I would like to talk to the companions a little bit more.
The guard sort of breaks down, shitting himself. You want to talk to the companions about your nerd shit? You're going to get the shit beaten out of you. Yeah, alright, you can go through.
If it's stupid and a plan, but it works, it's not stupid. And probably also not a plan.
So, what were we doing? Yes, everyone is through, but Revere. Not Revere. I
was going to say.
Yeah, Revere. Revere is through.
I snap my fingers. Revere, boy, with me now. And I tell the guard that he's with me.
You did not.
He got through before you.
Oh, I thought... Well,
no, sorry, I spoke the wrong name.
No,
he was in...
Veer is with me.
Arnulf is doing that for him, but... Good motion.
Dowen Bar hasn't got through.
Yeah, Dowen Bar hasn't got through. Technically, Dio. Dio's sort of standing there, slack-jawed.
As he does.
In Togra. The master has run off. What shall we do, Lord Dowen?
I know this fucking MP's lower than me.
Who the fuck is this Dio guy?
It is Dio.
Yeah.
Just, okay.
Dio.
Where did we pick this guy up?
He came with the Khajiits. He is their thumbs, is how he describes himself.
How high are the walls around the Cloud District?
They're actually not particularly high. The walls around Whiterun are pretty impressive. It's built onto a natural hillock right in the middle of Skyrim's central plain. But the walls between the Plains District and the Cloud District, I mean, here they're guarded, but if you go a little ways up, you might be able to find a spot.
We shall follow, but we should go slightly further along the fence.
Yes, my lord. He turns to the guard. We will be leaving now. Gives them a very long and intense stare, and the guards. Are you alright? Get out of here. What are you doing? And then the two Khajiit sort of slowly clop off.
I'll just be trailing the archaeologist, the Nord archaeologist.
Happily trotting along.
If Zanzarim's with us, then he can ride on top of my pack like he did before.
Excellent. I'll hop on up.
Meow.
Zanzarim's going to get really fat by the end of this campaign. He doesn't walk anywhere. Oh dear. Cool. In the interests of party unity, as the rest of you are sort of heading up into the Cloud District, Catclop, you and your trusty thumb servant Dio have sort of gone a fair ways up, maybe 150, 200 meters up. The fence between the wall between the Cloud District and the Plains District follows some of the natural incline of the hill. So there's rocky bits, but it's not too tall, only maybe 3-4 meters. It's not going to be particularly difficult to scale. The problem is more doing it without anyone noticing you.
Okay. If I were to be able to jump over it...
If you got a run up...
I have jump spell.
How
high can you jump?
The jump spell lets you jump 3 meters extra to what I normally can, so...
You jump quite high anyway. What are the jump rules?
I don't know.
Use the grenade rules.
You've not played Morrowind, have you, young Nicholas?
I have, and yes, oh my god.
So for Creed's reference, there is a guy in Morrowind who you get out of the starting town and he lands in front of you and immediately dies from fall damage. And
I love that guy.
He's got these three scrolls on him, and the basic shtick of these scrolls is they cast like a 3,000 point jump spell on you. So he was standing on the northeast corner of the island, uses the scroll, jumps into the air, has no ability to slow himself down, he just has the jump, clears the volcano in the middle, and splats in front of you on the southwest side of the island.
Nice.
It's amazing. I think the first ever pen and paper game I ran was a terrible Morrowind homebrew, and Benji got hit by that guy, if I remember correctly. Cool. So, jumping. Character may also make an acrobatics test to jump over or up to an obstacle, either horizontally or vertically.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Christ. So you can actually just start, and it's only a -10. When jumping vertically, each meter they wish to jump beyond the first imposes a minus penalty on the test. When jumping horizontally, -10 penalty. Cool. So we'll call it a 5 meter wall. So it's tall, but not too tall.
Okay.
Tall enough.
Yeah. So you're a large cat horse thing. So you're probably 2 meters. So you need to jump 3 meters, basically. Slightly over 3 meters. You need to jump 4 meters in order to clear the wall.
Okay. My jump spell lets me jump 3 meters extra to what I can normally jump.
Yeah, that would actually bring you to the 4 meters required to clear the wall.
Okay, now, casting a spell. What do I cast it against?
Let's have a look at your sheet, shall we?
It'll be your school, but I think most, if not all, of the magics go off willpower.
Yeah, it just depends what school jump is in.
It's alteration, it's novice, which is trained. Make sure it's trained, because you can't cast it if it's not trained. So, I have novice.
You can cast it if it's not trained, it's just likely to fuck up. You can actually cast level 7 spells, if you have them. They're just very likely to fuck up.
No, I mean, you need the skill trained in the magic that you're using.
Oh, yeah, no, you do need the skill trained somewhat.
Oh, novices plus 0.
Oh, fair. I misunderstood. So I'm done.
I'm trying to. What's my rolling? Oh, I see. Yes, because brain's stupid.
Oh, I was saying that my brain is stupid, young Nicholas. Why do you have to copy everything I do? Cool. So, standard alteration, I guess, actually, yeah. Just give me alteration over willpower plus 0.
Okay.
I just did an @ here on the Discord server, and I don't know if that gets all roughly 50 people on the server, if that's an @ everyone.
I think it probably does, yeah.
You know what? They're going to witness something amazing.
Yeah, because that's... fuck, what's it called?
Oh, I know it. I can't remember what it's called, though. The webcomic.
Yeah, the prequel adventure. There we go. It's on my favourite
Yeah.
part. I've not caught up with that in ages. Prequel adventure's great, though.
But that's a fail. I just realised how hard it is for me to cast spells. Lol.
Back in a sec.
Yeah,
Except Sinner's Pride is also great as well.
I've not read that one. So you weave your paws in a specific motion, but you have to stand up on your rear legs to do it. It makes the whole thing rather difficult. You speak the words of power in Togra, in your deep rumbling voice, but this is difficult. You are not a particularly good wizard, and your jump spell fails to... Yep, no, he tagged everyone. And your jump spell fails to manifest.
Can I try again?
Sure, but I think you spend the magicka each time, don't you? If you fail.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, then in that case you can retry magic as much as you like. It's your magicka to spell. Your magicka to fail.
That's spot on what I needed! It goes off!
Squeaked it, yeah, no. Dowimbar stops vertically 4 meters up into the air and gives himself just enough forward lift on the second try to come crashing down on the other side of the wall. It's not quiet, but it is actually fairly successful. And
I do have catfall as well. I don't know if that would...
that
to being
increases
quiet,
the amount that you can fall, doesn't it? Not the stealth of it.
I just wondering if thematically it would affect the loud landing.
And then there's a... I guess he's trying to do it with hands, so we'll give him a slight
Oh yeah, I meant to carry him on my back. Oh well.
bonus. But... And miraculously, Dio scrabbles up over the wall and sort of face plants the ground on the other side. My lord, I have made it over the wall. What is this strange land we find ourselves in?
I believe they call it the Cloud District.
Of course. Your wisdom is never ending. And as
Let's
you
find the others.
quietly sort of walk out between 2 houses, you see the rest of the group who've sort of moseyed up the path a little way, just kind of enjoying not having to be around your Senshi horse stank.
I'm curled up asleep on top of the backpack.
Totally not distressed about leaving you guys out there.
No, I'll go catch up with them.
So you've got to the Cloud District. I think you wanted to get up to Dragon's Reach, in fact, as well, didn't you? But was there anything you wanted doing in the Cloud District at all? No? Okay.
Isn't the companions in the Cloud District? We could...
Ooh, sorry.
I was just going to say, we could do a little bit of window shopping around the Skyforge.
Yes, I've been trying to find the link for the Skyforge, because I forget if... I don't think they let you up to it, do they? But they'll sell you stuff made from it.
Yeah.
Or do they let you up to it? Is the Skyforge secret? Or
Well,
not?
Skyforge isn't secret.
No, but like,
It's-
is it a Forbidden City situation? Like, you know where it is, but you're not allowed in?
In the games, it's behind the companion's hut.
Did I miss anything?
It's half. It's not to scale, but it's behind the companion's hut.
I
And
thought I had my name.
they won't let you use it until you do some stuff for them. So
Alright, well, you know what, we'll, for the sake of ease, we'll assume that you can actually get at the Skyforge. No, you didn't miss anything particularly dramatic, Ollie. Catclop successfully cast a spell, and Dio successfully... it took him 2 tries, but he did get it. and Dio successfully clambered up the wall on the first try and face-planted the ground on the other side. So they've actually linked up with you as you were just quietly sort of enjoying not having a big lumbering cat after you the whole time.
For fuck's sake, you try and get one of one, and this one appears out of nowhere.
My lord, this is Do Wimbar. Do you not recognize him?
They all look this.
Agreed.
My lord. My lord! To, feckin' Yuhnbric and...
Yuhnbric's there like, I am a sheltered... he doesn't say it out loud, but he is a sheltered, somewhat outside of the Dwemer sphere, unimaginative Dwemer, who is essentially culturally unaware of anything that exists outside of his sphere of influence.
Almost everything, in fact.
Oh yes, that's the Clopclat, I suppose.
The big one. The one that stinks.
Do Wim, huh?
That's what I said.
Yes, this is my lord, Do Wimbar.
Ah. Do! Win. Ah.
That is not how you pronounce his name. And so the conversation goes for some time. I can't help but feel like young Nicholas is going to be very disappointed when Carl comes back.
More Miss Dio.
I mean, would we consider thumbs to be, story significant? Do we need to schlorp in thumbs when we schlorp out Carl?
It's like a ding!
I mean,
it's not
only for the two of us who don't have thumbs.
Yeah, it's kind of plot critical for them. They banked on having a character available who could do thumbs related tasks on request for them. So
I didn't
Who is
just
loyal to the Khajiit
exactly.
agenda.
So it's
Loyal, has thumbs, and can speak common.
exactly. So it's only fair that they get to keep those three traits and pretty much nothing else. He doesn't have any of Jomo's other abilities. Cool. So in that case, you were going up to Jorviska. Jorviska? It's Jorviska, isn't it?
Yuhnbric?
Yeah, Jorviska. The longhouse of the companions around which Whiterun is built. It takes you perhaps 5-10 minutes to get through the Cloud District to get there. It's actually relatively big. And I believe it has an open courtyard, so you can see the several of the members of the companions in the grounds outside, sparring, fighting rather fiercely. What do?
Wow, it's sorry, choking on a biscuit. They're so dreamy.
Yeah, no, their form is perfect. And you can see that their gear is likewise sublimely forged, even actually to Yuhnbric, who was presumably expecting armor that's at least a little bit shit. This is crude, but the quality of the metal, even to not especially even to his discerning eye, rather, it is kind of stand out.
I'd like to try and get their attention. Just sort of jump around a bit.
Just because I've had very low standards set by the party so far. How literally do you mean jump around?
I mean, sort of, I'll be sort of jumping there, waving a little bit. Going, hey, hey, hey!
Jump around. Jump around. Jump, jump,
No.
jump around.
Yeah, no, Revere bounds ahead and up to the companions who duel away. The battle spins to a surprisingly graceful halt, their savage blows coming to an end neatly as you get within range and begin bouncing from foot to foot. The two turn at you, or turn to face you rather, and let's see who you're actually speaking to, because I'm not sure who's in the companions at this point. So we'll say you've got a lass covered in blue tattoos, wielding two rather hefty, actually rather vicious-looking short swords, and who's the other guy? A sort of elderly man with one milky white eye. They look at you, wordless. Revere, your heroes have actually paid attention to you pretty much immediately. What do?
It's starstruck. What is it?
The old man pipes up. Can we help you?
Can I shout from the back? I heard you were nerds!
I heard you fight people.
The old man looks up at the elf. We don't like your kind round here, elf.
Nerd.
The lass looks you up and down, Revere. Yes, we fight people. Oh god, Ayla's supposed to have a horrifyingly strong accent, isn't she?
Yes.
Yes, we fight people.
I still understood that.
Right, yes.
Are
It's
you
difficult to
fight?
do, honestly.
I hear you fight people.
What?
I hear you fight people.
I'm way too sober to do a decent West Country slur, I'm not gonna lie. I need cider, frankly.
It sounds like Benji isn't too sober, so let him do it.
I can fight people.
I'm stone dead some.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I can fight people. How do I join?
That's a very good point. I think the companions usually give you a quest.
Does that mean we can all become werewolves?
Don't metagame. And also, they're not going to initiate the pack horse.
What?
You're a horse.
Rude. I am not a horse.
My feudal privilege.
To them, you are definitionally a horse.
I can do maths. I'm not a freaking horse.
Can you
You're
though?
not a horse. They don't realise that.
I know.
Well, you are a horse, but you're a sapient horse.
You're also cat-shaped, don't forget. Also, don't forget you don't have thumbs.
I tear out your jugular. I swear
Yeah,
to
but
God.
you can't do it with a weapon. Therefore, you're kind of against the whole companion vibe thing they've got going on.
Can I shout at the companions that, hey, fellow nerds?
Yeah, sorry, you got a fuck you from Skjor a second ago.
Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't hear that.
The nerds versus jocks.
These guys aren't nerds, they're jocks! No!
They are very... Like, you were kind of hoping, oh, maybe they actually are nerds, apparently. But they very visibly stand up to kind of maybe a slightly less intimidating version of what you were expecting. But, yes. So, the lass looks you up and down, Revere. I tell you what, if you could beat one of our basic recruits in a fight, we'll consider giving you an entry quest.
Sounds good to me. Sign me up.
Alright, apparently we're doing a duel.
Have a go as well. I know I'm an old man, but, you know, I've still got some spring in me step.
Ayla looks at Ayla. The lass looks at the elderly man. The elderly man looks at the lass. Not one word from you, Ayla. Not one sodding word. Ayla looks back at you, Arnulf. We take him at all ages. And gets a hefty punch to the shoulder from Skjor.
And oorah.
It was more of a dig at him, really. Cool. I don't know if we want to do like a full combat encounter mid-session, because that's going to bring the pace to a grinding halt. But we can give you like a series of horrifying weapon skill challenges and see how you do.
Works for me.
Can I boom?
Can you what, sorry?
Can I use Bethune to cheat?
I don't
I've got my
know
fists.
how well they're going to take that. You can. There's not any way that they can really stop you. but you are a Nord, you would be aware of the history of the Companions, which is equal parts like they're responsible for so much of Skyrim's worst history, but they're also kind of reputed for being honourable and these amazing warriors, not really borne out by their record, frankly, which is mostly horrifying genocide, but I guess they claim to be honourable about it. And using the Thum in a one-on-one duel of weapons is definitely... I mean, it'll probably work, but it will probably disqualify you.
I feel like if you use the food,
I will. Okay, for narrative reasons, I will not use it unless I'm about to lose. In which case, I will totally use it.
Will you be taking your backpack off?
Yeah, but I'll set it down nicely so you can.
Right.
So the cat wakes up to find himself mid-combat.
I keep an eye out. If it looks like those, God damn you, Creed!
Zanzarims
are here. He's gonna wake up. I'll kneel down next to him as if you can sit on my back if you like.
I briefly look up at him from my curled up sleep and just go meow, and then just go back to sleep.
I just nod.
He honours you, my lord. The Nords all look over at the other Khajiits. It's just confusion. Not worth the time. Cool, okay. So they wheel out a low-level recruit, or so they say, to face you first, Revere. Now, you were promised a low... God, what the fuck is the roll to hit in this system, actually? Because it's not just weapon skill, is it? I keep assuming it's Dark Heresy.
There's a specific skill for it.
Yeah, there are combat styles.
Yeah, I've got combat style.
What is your combat style?
Unarmed.
Oh, yeah, it's Punch Cat.
Punch cat. I've also got throwing weapons,
Yeah,
but
so
unarmed is the main one.
they wheel out someone to fight you, who you're told is a junior member. But sorry, I'm echoing on someone. Young Nicholas.
Sorry.
I wouldn't mind, but you're very clearly wearing headphones, so I don't know how this always happens.
Don't either.
Cool. Where were we at? Yes, but in actual fact, the individual in question is colossal. They're about the size of a tree.
This guy again.
No, it's not that guy. It's not perfectly ordinary naked Nord. He cracks his neck and goes to retrieve a single short sword. In fact, a pair of short swords, we'll say, from a nearby table. And what'll he be fighting with, cat?
Raise my paws.
He looks at you, looks at his swords, looks at you. Yeah, alright. Let's fucking do this.
Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough.
Shucks
Can
his
you
sword.
say
What
that
do you
in a
mean he
stronger
clearly
West
does,
Country
Revere?
accent, please, Callum?
Sorry, you both spoke at once.
Could you say that in a stronger West Country accent, please, Callum?
Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough.
Hello.
My Nordic only comes out when I'm in the fighting mood.
It's I, Revere. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough.
Him's fighting words.
All words are fighting words.
Yeah, and then he launches himself at you. So I will take not profession, is it? It's... Do we
Combat style.
Profession.
Do we not
Punch
have a
cat.
skill for combat style?
Combat
Cool,
style
combat
is
style.
a skill.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's
Yeah.
Callum. I think you've put your combat style under profession, but it does have an actual skill.
Ah, my apologies. I'm working on my Excel sheet. But yes.
You should probably do it on the Roll20 as well, man, because otherwise I don't know what your character's like.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I tailor difficulty to what skills you have and such a little bit as well. So you'll end up with things balanced slightly against you, or markedly so even.
No, I have got my...
Yeah, you've got combat style on there. It's oh,
Yeah, I've
right,
got it under
no, I
skill.
see. And then you've also
Yeah,
got
sorry,
your
profession, because you can't have two combat styles showing up on there.
Oh.
So yes, I put I put combat style as my unarmed on there.
That's fair. This sheet is not a good sheet.
It's not great. I also have a couple of cestus as well.
Cestus. Oh yeah. No, I remember the things. Cool. Yeah. So he hucks his swords and lunges straight for you. So I will take combat style unarmed over. I mean, what's your response here? How do you want to react to this? Do you want to like try and tackle him head on? Or are you going to try and weave around him?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Sorry.
I'd like to try and tackle him head on. I'm a proud Nord. I'm not one of these tricksy little Khajiits.
Yeah.
I want to try and get inside his guard and punch his face off.
No, that's pretty fair. And you know what? He was definitely expecting you to dodge, so I'll give you an unarmed roll over strength at a +10 for the surprise.
Excellent. Shit.
Well then,
I might suggest you luck roll that.
Does it happen to be a lucky number?
No.
what happens when you
Right.
do a lucky number again? Can you re-roll it for free?
It's an auto pass.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
99 actually is one of my lucky numbers. Yeah.
All I had to get was under 71.
Are you sticking with the roll, or are you leaving it?
No, I'm gonna. How do I luck roll this? I forget.
So you spend a luck point from your sheet, and then you just get to reroll.
Okay.
But
This is permanent, isn't it?
yeah, the second roll sticks.
No, I mean the spending a luck roll from the.
Oh
the
No,
you spend so there's a difference between spending and burning. Basically, burning is permanent. Spending is like you spend a temporary one out of the total, but those regen at a rate of 1 per session. Or apparently, when you really please Stendhal, without sucking up too much.
Fair enough. Let's try this again. Boom! That's more like it.
Yeah, so your very first blow flings you straight at his fist, and for a split second he looks like he's going to just wholesale punch you in the mouth, and then he sees your teeth and kind of half-heartedly jerks his fist out of the way, and oh fuck, I don't want to maim the shit out of my hand even if it kills you, jerks out and around, and only then notices your actual fist coming up with full force into... Oh, that was not a correct... piece of foley into the underside of his jaw. What's your DOS on that one, Callum?
My what?
Degrees of success.
4.
4. Yeah, no, that is a hefty punch to the skull.
And fractures a man's skull.
Yeah, no, he goes catapulting backwards, like visibly sent not half a meter, but a modest amount up into the air and back onto the ground, choking and spluttering. Revere, you have a moment for a one-liner if you'd like to deliver.
That's what you get for taking on a true Nord.
To the sidelines, Ayla gives a little chuckle, and the old man, who is not being referred to by name yet, puts his hands on his hips rather indignantly. The trainee hauls himself to his feet, cracks his neck. Right, let's do this. Okay, here's how we're going to do the rest of this, Callum. It's first to 10 DOS or first to 10 DOF. So degrees of success or degrees of failure. You've got 4 degrees of success already. I will take another roll, this time at a +0.
Excellent. Well, that's 5 degrees of success.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so he runs at you wholesale, this time a little bit more cautious.
Sorry, that's 4 degrees of success plus 0.
Fair. So he runs at you wholesale, this time just a little bit more cautious, like sort of moving his body so that he can guard one of your blows with the side of his hand, but still bring his other arm around to punch you right in the face, or torso even. It's a full frontal charge. How do you see yourself intercepting this?
I like to sort of sidestep and then just sort of twat him in the ribs with my elbow.
Yeah, there you go. So you let him get right inside your guard, and then at the last possible moment, sidestep just out of the way and whack him right in the ribs with your elbow, as mentioned. Now, it wasn't that hard a blow for you, but for him, he put all of his momentum into that sudden charge, meaning that the relative impact, though fairly painful for you, in fact, knocks the wind out of his lungs, and he goes plummeting, he goes flying to the ground, teeth spraying out of the roof of his mouth as his open jaw hits the pavement.
What's that? Nord got your tongue.
This is not a good day for this guy.
Ayla starts openly shitting herself, but just barely restraining it. He rolls over, sort of hauls himself to his feet. Alright, let's do this! This time advances on you a little bit more slowly, cautiously, guardedly. I'll take an unarmed at minus 15, please, Callum.
Aha.
Well,
that's 3 degrees of success.
Which, by my count, gives you victory and 1 to spare. So he moves in, and you begin trading rapid-fire blows. Now, more than a few of his punches connect. Unfortunately, what they mostly connect to is apparently your pretty robust block. And as he begins to tire himself out and grow sluggish enough that he pulls an arm back for the backswing and leaves himself open just a little bit, at just about that moment, you nut him right in the broken, gummy mess of a mouth that used to be his teeth. That was poorly phrased. Regardless, he collapses backwards.
Our players have got to stop nutting others in the mouth. It's just
nutting him in the mouth. Quote of the evening.
I stand by my wording. Whereupon he cracks his head on the pavement and more or less passes out from the pain. Ayla gives the old man a jab in the ribs. Alright, Khajiit, you're in.
Hey!
Oh well, we'll give you the quest, but that was a good show. What made you want to join the companions, anyway?
Well, cracks my knuckles. It's a proud Mill tradition, isn't it?
She raises an eyebrow. It is.
Every little kid in Skyrim always wants to join the companions.
Oh, I see. You're a Skyrim native, then, are you?
Well, of course I am. Look at me.
She actually does take in your gear, and now... you know what? That's very fair. Oh, we've even got a Dunmer in the companions nowadays, so, we're a fairly progressive institution. Oh my god, I can't do the Dunmer voice.
You have a Dunmer in the
You have
in the
to.
companions, do you?
Can you do a West Country Dunmer, at least?
West
You have a Dunmer in the companions, do you? Well,
Outlander!
Outlander! Sorry, Creed.
Alright, I think you're an outlander.
For
He
Creed,
needs more gravel.
for Creed's reference, yeah, that's nowhere near gravelly enough, Benji. In
Alright, I think you're an outlander.
There you go, that's the one. So,
Ow, that hurt my throat.
yeah, exactly. So because Vordenfell, the island that Morrowind takes place in, is set in the shadow of this big volcano, all of the natives have horrible smoker's voice. And it's the most glorious mess to listen to. Anywho, sorry, Ollie, were you trying to say a thing in character there when we were memeing?
I was, yeah. I assume I'm around the fighting characters right now.
There's a small circle that's formed, but you were at the front.
And I've already heard the word Dwemer.
You've heard Dunmer.
Dunmer. And I believe from what you told me last time, I can gather from the text and the contextual things they're talking about, from the contextual signs of the language, that it is a subterranean elven race. Was that it?
Not subterranean, but so you would recognize both the words dun and mer. So the various Elvish languages are fairly heavily interconnected. They're not the same languages, and they often have very different like typefaces and written forms, but they're fairly able to understand each other somewhat, depending on form.
Okay.
So dun means dark, mer means elf. Dunmer is a dark elf.
In which
you can
case...
kind of guess the rationale.
In which case, with dark elf and to my Dwemer brain, assuming that means underground elf, therefore maybe someone who knows something about the collapse of my entire civilization and destruction, it piques my interest.
It's not a bad leap of logic.
I think you did get the full spiel from...
I got the full spiel, but... This is now me trying to expand on my knowledge of why things went wrong and where things went wrong, and I presume an underground race of elves may know something.
So the full spiel in this context did, because I remember we mentioned it, I say I remember, what I mean is I listened to the recording before the session, and the Battle of Red Mountain did come up, which is the point shortly after which the Chimer become the Dunmer. So... you would know that they're not subterranean, but you also would know that the race as a whole, or at least some of them, several eras ago, were potentially connected with the disappearance of the Dwemer. It was the Eastern Dwemer who caused the disappearance. That much is generally held to be true, and... probably, but not everyone agrees on it. And the Dunmer who at the time were a different race of elves, were fighting them when it happened. So he maybe still is a good resource for information, but for slightly different reasons.
I mean, I'll go for the good resource for slightly different reasons then.
That's fair. That's why I was explaining it. Like the things...
No, that's fair, that's fair. Like I said, I'm not massively familiar with the Skyrim, Morrowind, the lore of the Elder Scrolls, so thank you. Cheers.
That's totally fair. Cool. And so... Sorry, could you give me your line one more time, Ollie? Because it's buried like 10 minutes back in the conversation now. What were you saying?
My line?
Yeah, what were you saying to her about the Dunmer?
Oh, I was like, the Dunmer? You have a Dunmer in your grouping? Could I meet them? I think was roughly what I said.
She sort of gives you a sidelong glance. Yes, we have a Dunmer as well, but... There's a fair number of your kind in Skyrim nowadays. Regardless, we've still got another fight left. Bring out the other one. And
I bristle when she says there's a fair amount of my kind left.
And then she jabs a thumb at Arnulf. Right, you're up, mate.
Right, who am I fighting?
It's a piece of piss, mate. Don't worry.
We'll actually say the Dunmer comes out. I'm not sure what his name is.
Kill him, Denji.
I immediately shout him to the ground and run off screaming, I win! I'm the Dragonborn!
Make him bite his tongue off.
That's... what?
Hit him with a chair.
Oh.
Back out!
I'll
He's got a steel
be
chair.
right back. I need the toilet. Talk amongst yourselves.
I'm gonna grab a drink.
Yeah, I'm going to say actually. Watch out.
Cheers! Cheers! I'm now on a 7% cider.
Oh,
Cider.
It's Henry Weston's vintage medium dry cider, but I'm pretty sure it's owned by Thatcher's.
Probably. Yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah.
Commercialised. You've had proper cider back in the true West.
I mean, that's why they call it Westons.
They can call it that, they don't make it so.
Can you just say "ooar" for me?
Ooar!
That's what I needed to hear tonight. Callum, can I get your best "ooar"?
He's getting a drink.
Benji, what are we gonna do with these people?
Let them get their drinks, and then ask them.
Then you know what, that makes a lot of sense actually.
He'll be back soon.
All right. Did you have stimulating conversation?
We talked about URs. Ewan, can you give me your best UR?
Oh, not without a fair bit more booze than I've had in me. But yeah. All right. UR.
Now we just need Callum
You
to
need
be the final link in the puzzle.
You need
Uar.
you need a decent amount of booze in you to give a solid UR. The West Country.
I
accent is not
feel
much
like that may be the
experience,
case.
It's just really got to try.
All right. So I have now looked up the Dark Elf in the Companions, and he's arguably one of the most generic characters in all of Skyrim. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, no, the Dunmer is wheeled out, walks out.
Like Hannibal Lecter.
Why has he got a weird mask on his face?
Why does it? I found this. Oh God, he's a Dunmer. Okay, I'm going to give it a go. It's going to sound ridiculous. It will kill
You
me.
could say he's got the mask on his face.
So he can't talk.
He's got a muzzle.
You know, it sounds more intimidating when people can understand you, right?
He holds a sword up, pointing straight at you in a very dramatic pose. Not that that makes any sense in this context, but I'm glad Callum.
Over there, do you need a lozenge?
I feel like the only one who's appreciating this.
Thank you, Callum. Ayla pipes up. And what weapon? No, I think I need a lozenge. What weapon? I knew it was going to fuck my throat up. God damn it! And what weapon? And what weapon will you be using, Master? What's your friend's name? She turns to Revere.
Oh, he's Arnulf. Sorry, he's Arnulf.
And we'll get you doing the accent one of these days.
Only in fights.
To a dramatic pose. And what weapon will you be using, Mr. Arnulf?
I will use the combination of this, I'd like to point to my throat, and my axe.
Sure.
Her eyes narrow at you. No spells.
No spells, my love. Ain't no spells here.
Isn't Doom's a form of magic, right?
No.
It's not a spell.
Fair enough.
It's a way of living.
Arguably, technically, yes, but also not necessarily. Go away, outside car people. Sorry, what was your second weapon there, Benji? She kind of zoomed in on the
I pointed at my throat and then my axe.
Fair.
Which Yuhnbric will probably be very interested in, given it is Dwemer.
Most Dwemer weapons in Skyrim, I believe, aren't even necessarily salvaged Dwemer weapons. They're very often melted down and reformed in the style.
Yeah, generally they're just like nab bits of machinery off the walls that vaguely look like an axe.
So it's good phrasing. So from your point of view, Ollie, if you just imagine it the way your standard Fallout Raider's weaponry looks, it's that type of aesthetic, but with your culture. In fact, you know what? Give me a luck roll, Ollie.
Okay. I think this is 31 or under. Okay.
He's appropriating your culture.
Could you people stop appropriating my culture 1 goddamn second? My luck is 37.
Fair. Yeah, no. Yeah. There is a maker's mark on it, but you don't recognise the maker's mark.
It's your father.
Well, I mean, he doesn't recognise the mark, so. And presumably that was non-verbal, Ollie, right?
Yeah.
Just to confirm. Cool. So the Dark Elf stands back, sword. We'll say it's puts down his little one-hander, goes to the table nearby, picks up a majestic two-handed sword. and then steps to you. Okay.
Wait, what? When did this happen?
Sorry, not you, Arnold. No, kill the bird.
He doesn't eeny, meeny, miny.
Dunmer on Dunmer.
I need you.
Cool. What is your response going to be, Benji? Arnulf is actually getting a little bit of a harder fight. Your opponent is clearly taking you significantly more seriously, not least because he's watching Skjorn. Skjorn? Skjor. He's watching Skjor scrape the other guy up off the floor, so he's being a bit more cautious and treating you as a serious threat, not rushing straight into your guard. So what are you thinking, response-wise?
Old man and the defensive fighter, so I'm going to let him come to me.
Alright, he sort of whirls around you with a few gentle probing attacks. We'll call it your Nordic warrior over... I guess that's probably over perception. If you're playing it defensive and you're sort of skirting each other for the time being. It's going to be at a -10, but we're limiting the maximum doff to 2. So even if you fail worse than that, because he's only probing, he can't get any better.
-10, or...
Sorry?
What's the reason it's a -10, sorry?
Because he's a veteran warrior taking you seriously and has a big fuck-off two-handed sword.
Dick.
You've been slightly screwed.
No, that's 40 rounds of success.
Yeah, you've been slightly screwed by how well Revere did, for the record. Like, this guy is taking you as a threat. He likes his teeth.
Tough.
Yeah, no, he tries for a few gentle probing strikes to see if your guard is as strong as he thinks it might be, and it is significantly stronger. As you step inside his strikes, your axe not just batting the sword out of the way, but actively hooking it and pulling it away from him, allowing you to get in and give a hefty gut punch to the belly several times. He's trying to get out of there.
I just, while I'm inside his guard whacking him, I just like to give him a wink and go, I ain't as slow as I look, or be.
He says in surprise. And pulls back from you. He steps back, and this time moves to the defensive himself, holding the sword up. Begins to pace around you.
I hope we meet more Dunmer.
I'm not putting all of them in masks.
Which would you rather have, all in masks or the gravelly accent?
Oh god, all in masks is significantly easier, but also...
All in masks it is!
It's a cultural thing.
All Dunmer wear masks. No.
They do now.
Makes Ollie an oddity. Even though he's not Dunmer.
Yeah, Yuhnbric's basically Dunmer, right?
Basically, right?
I'm sorry, you fucking want me?
He's your pretty standard basic bitch Dunmer.
Yeah.
Whoa, I think you'll find our
Let's just look at that
DM
beard.
basic of all bitches.
So, how are you dealing with this, Arnulf? He's not coming at you.
Alright, I suppose I'll have to attack then. Is that the same disadvantage as before? Or
Yeah, probably same disadvantage, but we'll switch over to... I mean, your choice, strength or agility. How do you want to approach it?
I will try strength, please.
Fair.
I ain't so agile in my old age.
Oh wait, did I say
I'd like
did I say minus 15 before? Because if so, only minus 10.
You said -10 before.
Fair. Then yeah, minus 10.
It's like, I'd like to make a show as I sort of move into attack. It's like, stretch me back out. Oh, you need to lie down. That is a success of -10 but +10, so 6 points, so 1 degree, I think.
Yeah, no, he deflects a couple of your blows, but you manage to get, not actually hooking your axe in this time, but sort of ducking under his guard and getting the butt of it right into the bridge of his nose. Right into the bridge of his nose beneath his mask, causing it to crunch backwards against his face, blood starting to spurt from around the edges. If you've ever played Morrowind, this is all very funny to you. But
He's my new favourite character.
Athis, the most generic Dunmer in all of Skyrim.
Turns into our favourite NPC.
I thought you liked Delphine. You know what? Not relevant. Yeah, cool. In that case, you're on the offensive here, Arnulf. What do? You've got the momentum.
I'm gonna press the attack.
Okay, let's knock that difficulty off and give you a +5 as his mask is filling up with blood.
Huzzah!
Get 100, get 100, get 100, get 100.
I'm going to luck that.
Is it a lucky number first?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Bollocks. It's still a fail, but it is a fail of if I... You say a +5?
Yeah.
That's 5, so 53, 63. So it is a fail by exactly 1 degree.
Cool. So you're still at 5-1. Yeah, you try to get a few more good hits in on him, but he seems to have gotten on to your strategy now of getting inside the sweep of his weapon. And instead of trying to wield the two-handed sword as dramatically and as fearsomely as he was before, instead takes a hand off and is more using it as a sort of swirling club to control where you are, and then with his offhand trying to punch at either the hand controlling your weapon or at your stomach. It's not a good strategy necessarily, but it's just about enough to keep you at bay and force you back a little bit, and the punches do hurt somewhat.
Rib injury.
They call them ribridries.
I'll stab you, you bastard!
I don't know if he's talking to me or the NPC.
Ayla translates from the sidelines. He's not very happy with you, Arnulf.
I got that.
And with that, the Dark Elf launches himself into a flurry of sweeping blows, trying to use the sort of club-like form of his large two-handed weapon to try and force you close enough that he can get a decent punch into your face or your gut. I will take combat style strength at a +0.
No, that's a pass, because obviously combat style is... Yeah. Oh my god, that's a pass! Huzzah!
DOS, 1.
Dead on.
Yeah, no, he
Wow.
is doing his best to wear you down, but
I'm very strong.
you're surprisingly strong and spry for your age, and you wield that axe well. You've fought Draugr who behave in a similar manner, and in fact, as you're now looking at him, you recognize this mask. He's wearing a Dragon Priest mask.
After the fight's over, could I have a chat with you about buying that mask? Fucking get! I'd really like to buy that. That could fetch a hefty sum. Get in there, you bastard! I really hope that's a counter offer. Eat knuckle, bastard!
Yeah, Nicholas, you're right. You're just kind of quietly breaking down on webcam whilst muted. Alright, that's fine.
God damn it. I'm so glad you saw I was fucking...
Alright, so apparently Catclop is heavily invested in this fight.
I thought I'd remind, or don't know if you know, but you can spend your stamina points, and before you roll a strength or endurance-based skill or character test, for example, combat skill, you can spend 1 stamina point and get a +20 bonus on the test.
What?
Yeah.
Wish I'd known.
Fight's not over yet. You're only 6-1.
Exactly. That's why I thought I'd let you know.
What's that?
That's from the sidelines. The Sench gives surprisingly sound tactical information, which
No one can tell No one can tell he's doing because he's a
which
cat.
is loyally relayed by Dio. My Lord Nord, he says that his form is weakest on his left-hand side. If you put your effort into that, perhaps he'll go down.
Being taught how to fight by a feckin' tiger.
His knees are weak and his arms are heavy.
Marcus, forget it!
Would you not shut up? I'm trying to think about how much money that fucking mask is worth.
And with that, the final round of combat begins. Presumably, I'm just assuming it'll be some massive decrease of success, honestly. It's a flurry of close-range blows. Let's have your combat style over strength of +0 again, please, Ben.
Oh, just as
I'm on a point.
you can't use luck if you use your stamina. Just so you know.
Goes up to 2/3. So I will spend the stamina.
+20, get 100, +20, get 100, +20, get 100.
No!
Oh.
So, okay, so I was on 79, so that is 6 degrees of success.
God, what's your DOS? Oh, 6 degrees, Jesus Christ.
Can I just headbutt him?
How badly do you dislike Athis?
I have no strong feelings on Athis one way or the other.
Okay, cool. So you don't want to, accidentally kill him, though?
I'm not aiming to kill him, but equally, I don't care if I hurt him badly.
Don't
That's
do it, Arnulf. You'll break the mask.
Shit, he's right! Knee to the groin!
A knee to the groin that takes him a vertical half-meter up into the air.
Human balls aren't meant to retract.
Goes flying backwards and crashes into a table, which just smashes on the ground. Ayla from the sidelines. It's a dirty business, but I've told him to wear a crotch guard before.
First rule of Skyrim combat, always wear the crotch guard.
Always wear the crotch guard. Look, the Khajiit's wearing the crotch guard.
Exactly.
Just as it
Second
would
rule of Skyrim combat, always punch for the balls.
be. I mean, that was a knee, but alright. And
Back in my day, it were punch.
Ayla's actually quite old. She's not old, but she's the latter half of middle-aged, I believe.
Same age as me then.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm
exactly.
late
Well,
for-
this is what I'm saying.
Okay, be right back, 30 seconds.
Actually, I think she is. Is
she?
I always thought she was supposed to be, but I also didn't realise that fucking Ulfric and Delphine are supposed to be in their mid-50s, which they are.
I don't think she is on the other side of middle aged.
Maybe she's... Oh, great. Everything I know about Skyrim is a lie. Well,
No, I mean she looks like. Looking at a picture, she looks like 30s.
yeah, but Ulfric doesn't look late 50s.
Well, granted, no.
I just don't think it does later period middle-aged people. The engine so well. Well. For our purposes, we'll say she's late 50s. Cool, and actually we need to wait for Benji to get back. So, rest of the group, is there anything you'll want to do?
I've returned.
Oh, fair. Well, rest of the group anyway, because they've been locked out for a bit. You've been spectating this fight, and there's a small crowd that's gathered around you as well.
I mean, I kind of feel like, you know what? People with muscles beating other people with muscles. It's a fucking jocks game. They aren't nerds. I want to meet some nerds. So I'm going to fuck off and try and find some actual nerds.
I think that Yuhnbric did mention to you his contact, Ferengar. I think it's Ferengar. Ferengar's Secret Fire. I don't know if he actually said that he was the court wizard up at the palace, but I think he might have. And you can see Dragon's Reach from where you are. Like, you can see it from most places in Whiterun.
But basically, I just want to meet some nerds and I want to make some stuff.
Fair. You probably can smell their smithy, for the record. It's not like just around the corner, but it's not more than a minute or two's walk away. The Sky.
So you know that scene in many Looney Tunes where they smell the food and they lift up off the ground and they go, I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, alright, fair. So, like, mid-fight, as everyone else is twatting away at each other, you've sort of quietly slipped away and gone towards the blacksmith. Let's check in with the Khajiits. Zanzarim and Catclop. Have you been just staying and watching the fight? Well, we know Catclop stayed at the end to give tactical advice, but Zanzarim?
Yeah, I've just been hanging around. I'd like to signal to Thumbsman that I'm hungry for one of my cheese chunks.
Of course, my lord. He bows and then quietly retrieves one of your cheese chunks from the package on the side of the pack on the side of the cinch, and proffers it to you.
I like to eat it quickly and then signal that I no longer have cheese chunks. Meow! Meow!
Perhaps we can visit a merchant at some point, my lord. They're bound to have cheese somewhere. I saw cows earlier.
Meow!
Yes, my lord. Many nods around him, looking at the Khajiit, even with the brutal arse beating going on in the background, entirely confused as to why he's addressing this obvious house cat.
I wanna keep an eye on the crowd, make sure no one gets too close to Zanzarim.
They're kind of pressed in a little bit around you, but it's not more than like a dozen, maybe 18 people, so they're stood close but not super close. This is the sort of the wealthy, posh people district of town, so they feel sort of inherently like they can go where they want.
Just gonna keep an eye out for sticky fingers and trying to protect him, basically. No one gets too close.
Sorry, Benji?
Who steals a house cat?
I suppose if he's a good-looking house cat.
Exactly.
But he's...
It happens a lot in real life. I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen in, fake life.
I mean, it happens in real life, though, because you can see, oh, that's an expensive breed, I will sell it. Not always, but that's one of the big ones.
Can you imagine if someone just ran up and picked Creed up and ran off with him?
And then Creed would scream, Zanzarim's are here and does not approve of this course of action.
And just blast them with magic.
Exactly.
Would not be the first time a cat has point-blank fire blasted someone in the face in one of my games.
Can't defend myself.
It's probably the most qualified battle mage you have, actually. Depressingly.
Just surprise on the face of the fuck.
I mean, not when you get fire blasted in the eyes, it's not. It's more of a, oh gods. Anywho. So, yeah, Ayla strides forward and offers Arnulf a hand. Which Arnulf
Sorry.
quietly stares at.
I'll take the hand. Right, so what exactly have me and the cat got to do for a quest?
That'll take a while. I'm Ayla, the Huntress, one of the senior members of the Companions. And your friend here is? She jerks a thumb over at Revere.
He's Revere Bjornsson.
Don't you forget it.
Well, you'll have to have a legend worth remembering first. I'll have a look in our archives, I suppose, for lack of a better word. If you come back to me maybe tomorrow, and I'll see what we've got for you. But I'll need to find up something, scrounge up something reasonably suitable first.
Fine.
And she goes over to start helping Athis up off the ground, where he's moaning and bleeding and crying through his mask.
Wait, by the way, when he gets up, Could you get him to contact me about where he got that mask from?
Just quietly gives you the finger.
I guess it wasn't a counter offer.
Meanwhile, having snuck away from the crowd fairly effortlessly, Yuhnbric, you turn a corner and find built into the rock a forge. A forge which smells to you almost like the forges of home, the forges of old. Or I suppose for you it was just a few days, really.
Is there a forge master present?
There is.
So I'm going to walk up to him
Sorry.
and to...
Just a moment, actually, Ollie, because I think you'd actually recognise the forge, in fact.
Really?
Yeah, no, actually, bizarrely. So it has a large eagle carved from the rock into which the forge itself is.
Oh, I actually think I remember this from the games. It's kind of off to the corner, right, of Whiterun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I vaguely... And it is... Is it a Dwemer artifact that's been kind of repurposed?
It is not Dwemer, but it did exist in Elven mythology. So the Dwemer were very curious atheists. They were less atheists in the sense that they didn't believe in the gods, and more in that they didn't recognize that there was a hard divide between gods and them, and were fairly committed to becoming such.
My boys! My boys!
Yeah, it did well for them.
They became the skin of a robot, but you know what? Fucking worth it. Pursuit of knowledge and all that.
Whoa. Now, I couldn't even begin to suggest what the Dwemer name for this forge would have been, but you would have heard folkloric stories about it. It's reputedly divine, which means it's something you have a vague distaste and mistrust for, even perhaps a slight envy. And it was something which was avoided at all costs by, or well, not all costs, but avoided under normal circumstances by both the Dwemer on the rare occasions they were on the surface of Skyrim, and more frequently the Falmer, who just didn't go anywhere near it. It's actually suddenly probably occurring to you as pretty crass that the humans have built a settlement around this taboo forge.
So was it... So out of character question and lore question, I suppose. The entire town / city is built around this forge, then?
Not like directly, it's at the centre, but the companions founded their hall here because this is where this forge was, and it made the best armour in Skyrim, which allowed them to go on their various genocides. And then because the companions were here, various other people moved here, and the city slowly grew up around that.
Would I be aware of the Forge's capabilities more so than the Forge Master, the current presumably human Forge Master?
You actually don't really know. You don't have the context. Your kind of assumption would be so. It seems unlikely that it would be a human with anything like your level of knowledge and skill, but you've not really done any information gathering, and it's not impossible.
Okay, I would like to find the Forge Master, and... Though I'm going to ask him about potentially whatever the Skyrim equivalent of meteorite steel is, and I want to ask him difficult forging questions to judge if he's worthy of my attention.
God, I think they actually do. They have meteor? Is that what Skyforged steel is, Callum? Is that meteorite?
Pretty much, I think.
Or is Skyforged?
What Damascus steel used to be was literally Skyforged steel, if I remember correctly.
Really wasn't.
Yeah, no, we don't fully understand what went into Damascus steel. But
I know we don't fully understand what Damascus was back in the age, but Damascus steel now is like multiple thousand.
Just because it's got iridium in it does not make it meteorite.
And also, it's one of those things where we've lost the recipe. We literally can't make it.
Like Greek fire.
Or Roman concrete is the other big one.
No, I was reading about this. Roman concrete is not as a mystery as many believe it is.
We know broadly what went into it. It's the exact proportions.
From what I remember, it was the limestone in the area. I want to say was like
Romans had a specific low grade, well, not low
Which
grade, but
hardened in
high
saltwater,
lying
right?
in the sediment band of lime that
And
only they had access to, which had certain properties in it, presumably
Yeah.
because it had fossilized animals in it. However, we don't have access to any of it left.
Yeah.
So we can find out what was in it. It's just the very exacting.
The other day I heard
Recipe.
someone was suggesting the difference in the recipe is that they use seawater and not normal water because they just called it water specify.
I've heard that, but it's one of these things where it's just super difficult to determine. Basically, like it's not dissimilar with Damascus steel. We know a lot about it, but there's some key piece of information missing somewhere, basically, which means we can't recreate it perfectly. Even if we
I'm asking them questions. Essentially, like, hey, do you know how to make Dwemer steel?
Yeah.
In that sort of like, are you a fucking pussy, or do you know what the fuck you're talking about, you dick?
That was a huge tangent. Yes, no. So there is actually a guy there. He's a rather elderly Nord who eyes you, not even with suspicion as you walk up, almost for the first time since you got here. You've not really had a very positive reception in Whiterun from many people. He looks...
I can keep telling people I made a fucking well work and I'm happy with it.
You're made of what?
I made a well and I'm happy with it. If people question me, I'm like, I made a baller well. Fuck off. And
Right. I was hearing
Protect.
whirl, and I
was hearing whirl as well.
Yeah, I was desperately trying to figure out what the fuck is a whirl in this context. Is this a world?
I made a really good at water theme park.
So, yes, no, it's actually, for all that he's naked almost from the waist up and covered in sweat and blacksmithing fumes and reeks of the forge, he's got a fairly kindly gaze to him. As you sort of walk up, he responds fairly positively. Anything I can do to help you, Mer? You presumably begin launching into just starting off with slow ramping questions about the forge, and then this little piece of knowledge and trying to catch him out with that. And
little bits of material science that I think no one else would know.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll take engineer at... God, this is a difficult one because you're both very skilled. I will take engineer over intelligence at... We'll call it a -10.
Cool, so I'm a journeyman, which is, I want to say plus 30?
Let's look that up rather than guess.
It's over a plus 20.
Plus
or a
20. It's plus 20.
Okay, so engineer over intelligence, I'm a journeyman, so plus 10 total.
Yep.
That means that it is 61 or under. Yeah, I make it. Degree of success, if we go by the standard rules. I'm not sure what rules they have for degrees of success or degrees of failure for
We're
this
just
system.
using our rules because they...
Okay, in which case, degree of success.
Yeah, with a degree of success. So this kind of gets into a fairly long and intricate discussion for every question you have, and he doesn't match you for knowledge exactly, especially not the more advanced elements of sort of Dwemer precepts. You actually kind of rapidly come to the understanding that he's got a slightly better understanding than you of some practical aspects of forging, and definitely of using the Skyforge itself. It's more sort of advanced science that he doesn't know. But yeah, no, you are speaking to an incredibly skilled blacksmith who, even 4 eras removed, goes almost toe to toe. Not quite, but almost, and in some areas kind of exceeding you as a Dwemer rocket scientist /
I am... So, Yuhnbric is thrilled to meet someone, finally, who is of what he considers roughly his level. Like, he is absolutely impressed to meet a person who is above him in some areas and below in others. Like, he's very happy he's met someone who can compliment him by the sounds of it on areas that he doesn't like.
Yeah, you actually get the impression from him that he feels the same about you, that he mostly deals with really standard questions and queries about blacksmithing and can you make me the... Sorry, West Country. Can you make me the most legendary sword in the land? Over and over again, 5 to 6 times a day. As your conversation sort of reaches a natural lull, he offers you a single massive ash-covered hand. The name's Eorlund Grey-Mane.
I shake it. The name's Yuhnbric Orca, and I am happy to have met you.
He gives you a little chuckle. Yeah. Likewise. And what can I do for you, my elven friend?
So, and I show him my schematic for the time detecting device, and also after that my automatic shovel. And I'm like, I have these here devices that I'm trying to find an appropriate place to start forging for. Is there anything you can do for me? Perhaps material gathering in terms of what you have here? Or it seems like you run the forge in such a way I may be able to make them here myself.
He takes
With your help, if you would like.
He takes a look at the sheets, first at the auto shovel, and looking sort of impressed but also mirthful. And why on earth would you... It's fun, at least. And then onto the other device, and he's kind of equal parts bewildered, the time-space distortion detection device, and he looks equal parts like bewildered and fascinated. I mean, we can definitely make it. I have no idea what it's for, but this is art.
I tell him that with your help on this, I will happily give you the blueprint for the auto shovel. And you are free to do with it what you want.
I don't have much use for shoveling, but I'd be happy to lend you the use of the forge and give you an assist. These seem actually quite interesting projects to work on. I enjoy my job, but you have no idea how many swords and spearheads and bloody arrows I have to make week after week.
At this point, I give the forge master a hug. I don't think he has to know why I'm giving him a hug, but it's like a deep hug, and it's like a muffled sob almost.
He awkwardly returns the hug and goes,
and then I break away, and I'm like, and I give him the shovel design.
There is
I sort of just like say under my breath, just like, thank you.
There is a slight proviso to this, friend, which is I can't say that I'm going to pay for these out of my own pocket, so you'll need enough money to pay for the supplies.
I tell him that I have several Dwemer coins in my possession, which are worth several prized Dwemer coins in my possession, which I feel may be of some slight interest to him.
He shakes his head. No, I can't say I'm much of a collector, I'm afraid.
I tell him that at least one coin is worth 10 drakes.
I don't know who I'd sell them to be honest. I don't really leave Whiterun.
I laugh. Yes, I don't really know who I'd sell them to either.
That's the most quiet desperation I've ever heard in your voice, Holly. Money everywhere, but not a person to fence it. Cool, just cutting back to the rest of the party real quick. So you've been milling around the front of the hall with the two... with Revere and Arnulf presumably entertaining a fair amount of enraptured questions from onlookers. You've just about finished dealing with most of this discussion, and the crowd's beginning to sort of saunter away. The 5 of you twig collectively. 5? Yeah, 5. You've not seen Yuhnbric in a while. What do?
Hey, so has anyone seen the elf?
No.
I don't keep tracks on him, to be honest.
Huh.
I don't believe I've seen him.
So we're just about done here. Just gonna go wait for one of these here quests. Should we go and find him? Maybe.
I mean, she did say that she wouldn't have anything for us till tomorrow, so we might as well.
Yeah.
All right, where are you going to search for Yuhnbric? Where could he possibly have gone?
Someone asked someone more about carts as well.
Oh yeah, carts. That's a. Why would you remind me?
The C word.
I can't talk discreetly.
Nobody mentioned the cart.
No!
Oh, yeah, sorry, the Dio, the thumb servant, pipes up. My lord wishes it be known that we should ask the locals about carts. Stares gravely at, I guess, Arnulf.
The cart we're chasing, to be specific.
My other lord, Dowen Bar, wishes it to be known that we should ask specifically about the cart that we are chasing. Continues to stare gravely at Arnulf.
Why are you looking at him?
Well, you can understand them.
No, I can't.
But you are a Khajiit.
Well. Look, I may have been born a Khajiit, but I'm a Nord, okay?
So,
Let's get that square right away.
As he's slorped in, you have in fact technically retroactively had this conversation with Dio a few times. He's quite dim. And you can see even now the gears turning behind his eyes, struggling to process what you're telling him and not really focusing on it.
I'd like to point at the collective Khajiits other than myself. Cats. Points at myself. Nord. Cats. Nord.
I don't understand what you're telling me. My lord? He turns to Catclop.
Just a creepy grin.
My lord? He turns to Zanzarim.
I do a hungry meow.
Life in this... Sorry, Creed?
Where are those damn cheese chunks?
Life in this strange, cold northern clime is confusing. The Nords are furred, but not always.
I turn to Arnulf. Are they always this dim?
I don't know, they're your people, or at least the people...
Whoa.
Right. They're the people your ancestors came from. It's fine. You just gotta grow your beard out and then they'll know. I keep saying...
My beard covers my whole body.
Oh, there's the beard on your skin, and then there's the beard in your soul.
Question marks across the face.
Dio...
I mean, I know I'm not there, but still question marks.
Dio retreats into a pit of confusion. His information conveyed, and now he needs to focus on thinking where he can source cheese. Perhaps a passing cow.
You gotta milk it, you gotta buttercream it, and then you gotta churn that shit. Well, you gotta churn it and then buttercream it.
His understanding of the fermentation and indeed milking process is not great.
It doesn't seem like it is, no.
Cool, so yeah, rest of the party. Basically, where are you searching for Yuhnbric, your lost elf?
Did he say anything to anybody before he left?
No, he just kind of sodded off, actually. Last you heard, he wanted to try and fence his coins with... I think he was asking you about Ferengar.
Oh, well, in which case, let's head off there. I mean, if that's where he was going. Plus, I need to go see him anyway.
And
I need a new job. No, I mean the companions is fun and all, but they don't pay well.
I mean, out of character, he's at the Skyforge, right?
yeah,
That's quite nearby, right?
he's actually just round the corner. He's just,
Is it in eye shot if we did a perception? Is it possible
not,
to
I'm
see him?
afraid. It is just round the corner is the thing, so he's
To
just-
Dragon's Reach.
Sure.
It was a good try, crew. So yeah, no, the party begins trekking up to Dragon's Reach, certain that they will find their errant mer there. Meanwhile, back at the Skyforge... yeah, I think you were still talking to Eorlund Grey-Mane.
Yeah.
Yes, I estimate that you're perhaps talking 200 septims of materials for the auto shovel and maybe 2,000 for this device you want to build.
I take a deep breath. Now, I'm afraid, my dear Forge Master, I do not have the kind of coinage that you require of me. Is there any way you know I could get the materials myself and then forge it myself, but use your forge for a discounted rate? Otherwise, I would be happy to go on some errands for yourself, if that could help pay off the debt I would owe you.
You're certainly welcome to use the forge free of charge. I'd love to sit in on this, but that is actually the discount with me buying the supplies for you, going through my usual sellers.
I understand.
I'd perhaps recommend seeing up at the Jarl's palace if he's got any errands need running. I don't really have much call for things outside of the companions, but you might find something needs doing up there.
Cool. I thank him for his information, and I tell him I'll be back shortly. I appreciate the discounts and the free of use charge you've given me for the forge, and I would more than gladly have you sitting on me doing a forging session. Who knows? There's something you teach me, and there's something maybe I could teach you. I look forward to it in the future. And then I make my way back down to the party, and
well, you give him a wave, and he gives you a hearty wave goodbye, and you go back to see what's happening with the party. But they're gone.
da-da-da.
What do? Where go?
Seeing that the party isn't there, my first instinct is to go back to the hotel. My second instinct is like, fuck it, go to the Jarl. So I'm going to start walking up towards, I forget the name of, is it Dragon's Reach?
Dragon's Reach, yeah.
So I start walking up toward Dragon's Reach.
Fair. Oh, getting some bad impulses. You begin walking up towards Dragon's Reach. Dragon's Reach?
Don't you know? You never split the party. We're not in the dungeon, Ewan, okay?
Look, it's not for your convenience, it's for mine. You begin walking up towards Dragon's Reach, thinking that maybe you'll be fine without them, only to spot the very distinctive form of the large cat plodding along behind. Oh yeah, there's the rest of them. They're actually just a little ways up the path. They're only a couple of minutes ahead of you.
I run up and I slap the big cat on the back of its arse.
Catclop, you're quietly walking up the hill when suddenly you see the hefty Spank to the arse.
Spin around and bite whoever just fucking spanked.
I shout, friends! As I do that, by the way.
So you spin and
I pour him to the ground, like, boom, and growl.
I'm happy to accept the PvP action. I'm happy to lose it as well.
Alright, yeah, fair, no. So the unresisting form of Yuhnbric is sent catapulted to the ground. Is catapulted to the ground.
I shout, Dowimba, my friend! And I give him a big hug around the neck.
My paw is on your chest,
Yeah,
and I am
you're-
bearing my
doesn't
teeth.
stop my
You're being
arms
super
going
happy.
up.
Your
Young
arms
Nic-
aren't long enough.
Yeah,
That
your
doesn't stop
arms.
my
No,
arms.
I'm sorry. Young Nicholas is totally correct. If you are
Is he?
pinned
Because
on-
someone's
sorry,
actually
Benji.
called him by his name.
Benji, just a second. If you are pinned to the ground by the hand of a tiger, your arms are absolutely not long enough for you to be able to reach up and hug the tiger around the neck.
He's actually technically
In
twice
this
the
case,
size of a
I guess
tiger.
I guess I'm there, flat on the ground, like Dowimbar. Lovely to see you. I do know that Dowimbar is his name, right?
You've definitely heard Dio mention it a fair few times now.
In which case, I'm like Dowimbar, my friends, as I'm there, flat on the
I
ground.
am baring my teeth as if I'm about to rip your gullets out.
I will then start. Can I start scratching Dowimbar on the head?
No, your arms are not long enough.
I am sat atop the backpack, looking very entertained, watching it go on.
I like to just bare my claws and then back up.
Oi, exactly. And he wonders why we call him Catclop.
Dio steps forward. My lord is unhappy with you, pointing at Yuhnbric.
as I
And with you, pointing at Arm.
As I stand up, I dust myself off, and I crouch down. I suppose I need to crouch at least a little bit, considering a normal tiger's size, to Dowimbar's eye level. And I just...
No, I meet your eye level. I'm the same size as well. Oh, no, maybe a little bit, like
You're
a
not,
foot.
You're not eye level, but you'd have to
No.
lean down at least.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I crouch down a little bit to sort of meet the eye level, and I start scritching behind the ears.
He's still not happy.
I don't care. I'm happy to have met you.
My lord wishes it to be known that he does not accept your apology.
It's not an apology, it's a scritch.
My lord?
Dowimbar's tail is just flicking. Like,
After like 10 seconds of scritching, I'm there like, I'm so happy I've met you guys again. And I stand up fully and start walking amongst the head of the group.
Dio looks down to Catclop and mutters in Togra. Shall we murder him, my lord?
maybe later.
Yes, my lord. I will sharpen the betrayal knife.
Can I roll a quick perception to see if I've seen a cheese stall?
You know what? You've not had much to do this session, so let's say as you're passing up to Dragon's Reach, you pass by the premier luxury cheese stall, serving only the richest members of society that exists in the Cloud District.
Thanks.
Only serving the richest dwellers of the Cloud District.
I
I'll kill you.
meow at thumbs and point towards it. Meow.
Dio bows deeply. It will be done, my lord. May I have some spending money?
I like pat the pouch on big boy.
How much cash do you have? How much cash are you giving him?
Oh, Jesus.
We have 65 septums in there, standard.
Cool. Are you giving him 65 septims to buy cheese?
No. I'll give him 10. Allow him to.
Thank you, my lord. I shall return with delicious sustenance. And then, looking rather pleased with himself, having retrieved some small coins, he... Oh my god, young Nicholas has found reference images.
I actually meet his eye. Like, I'm the same fucking height.
Yeah, you know what? You are actually the same height. Fair enough.
It's fucking terrifying.
You're bigger than that. You know what? This is what we get for using Elder Scrolls Online as the bloody reference material.
It's the closest we're gonna get.
What are those little Toejay guys?
Toejay.
Jay?
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, wow.
is Creed a cat with a weirdly long tail?
I mean, I think it can vary. It's house cat-like, so he doesn't have to have a weirdly long tail if he doesn't want one.
I'm sorry, but Nick, you look like you literally look like 6 crossbred generations of a cat lion.
You do look like a critically inbred liger.
I can fit your mouth. I can fit your head inside my mouth. All right. So
No, don't get me wrong. You're terrifying, but it's like Hodor terrifying. It's, oh god, he's going to rip your head off.
But I have the
And he doesn't even know why.
Yeah.
I look freaking amazing anyway.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying you can't look amazing, but amazing has many ways you could slice it, you know? I should never have let you buy that, Merritt. Anywho. What the hell was we doing? Cool, so is anyone, not that you have to, but is anyone going with Dio over to the cheese store?
I will. Actually, no, wait, I'll stand with Zanzarim, wherever he is.
Zanzarim is sat on the back of Arnulf's pack.
I'm staying with him then.
Cool, everyone else is... Alright, yeah, no, Dio is unsupervised and goes over to the cheese store. A conversation...
Wait, who left Dio unsupervised?
This is usually how he dies. I think my all-time favourite Dio death, and there's been a few, was him panicking, running straight into a dungeon, tripping a trap the second he turned a corner, and then getting a ballista bolt straight through the chest. Pinned to a wall. Beautiful.
He was a vampire as well, so that counts as a staking.
It would have counted as a staking if it hadn't instantly killed him.
Oh, wonderful.
He'd been a vampire for like 3 weeks at the time, so he didn't even ash or anything, he just became a dead body. With his sire watching too. Rough. Anywho. So yeah, Dio strides over, and you can hear snippets of conversation. Good sir. My lord. Fine cheeses. The finest coin. Mighty Khajiit. Little snippets of sentences, accompanied by dramatic arm motions and a slowly backing away shopkeep. Dio eventually returns, triumphantly holding a tiny plate of cheese. My lord Zanzarim, I have purchased for you this fine exotic cheese. Holds it up to you. It is blue and somewhat mouldy. It is the most expensive they had in the shop. I had to haggle with him for some time before he would allow me to purchase it.
I pour it off the plate.
Lands on the ground with a wet thud.
Well,
Oh, I see I have made a grievous error. I will go into exile. He hangs
Oi,
his
mate,
head.
you really don't know your Skyrim cheeses, do you?
It was actually a very expensive cheese. And he hangs his head and begins sort of trooping down the hill.
I'm down.
Snaps, whirls on his feet. My lord?
I signal for him to follow me, and then I trot up to the cheese stall.
Yes, my lord. Thank you, my lord. I won't fail you again, my lord.
But you said that all the time.
I just
Shoots an evil glance at the Nord.
Quit while you're ahead.
once he arrives, brazenly jump atop the counter of the cheese stall, look the man in the eye, and then sort of pour point at some normal-looking chunks of cheese.
He's mostly selling wheels of cheese out here, actually.
How much is a wheel of normal cheese?
A wheel of normal cheese is 10 coins.
10 coins. I'll get a wheel of normal cheese.
So Dio follows you up, sees that you point very clearly at a thing of cheese. The shop keeps looking terrified and like, I would like to sweep this cat away, but it's very clearly possessed by the Daedra. So you sit there, arm held aloft on all fours, clearly pointing at a wheel of cheese. Dio, yes, my lord. I will go and get the money. Rushes back to Catclop. My lord Dowimbar, I must go into your side packages. Retrieves another 10 coins. rushes back up to the stall. Vendor, my lord requires this wheel of cheese. The vendor wordlessly takes the coins, puts them in his pocket, and the wheel of cheese kind of goes to hand it to the small cat first, and then
I shake my head at him.
Not going to work. Hands it to the larger or medium-sized cat instead.
I like to think all three cats are looking like eye contact at him.
He's mostly looking at the possessed cat and the large, crazy cultist cat. Like, am I dealing with Daedra worshippers right now? What is happening? Have they bound the soul of a sapient mortal into this house cat? What is going on?
I like to think I would have like shadowed Zanzarim as he walked off as well. So I always look like I'm within like 10 feet of him, sort of thing. I'm always there in the background.
I think he probably should have said that before he wanted.
I do apologise, yeah.
No, that's fair. Just because Dio already had to like rush back to you and then rush over.
I'll jump on Theo's head as we turn to the group.
Yeah, Dio sort of bows low so that you can jump onto him and then carries the wheel of cheese triumphantly back over to the group. My lord has purchased himself lunch.
Right. Okay. Rest of us have got it here in the bag. You could have had some of that if you wanted without paying 10 times the price.
My lord eats only the finest of cheeses.
Your lord pushed the finest cheeses onto the fucking floor.
Looks down at the ground. It can't have been that fine, or my lord would have eaten it. In the background,
Your lord's a cat, mate.
In the background, the cheese merchant bristles. I don't appreciate your terminology. My lord is an Alfiq, noblest of the Khajiit breeds, furstocks.
Is that why he has no thumbs?
Thumbs are for the weak.
Sure, mate, sure.
Domenbar kind of nods.
The cheese vendor at the back. Do I report this to the?
Is this a crime?
Does this go to the guards or the temple? Do I need an exorcism or a policeman?
This just sounds like the sort of regular crime the party get into. Should it be an exorcism or should it be jail time? Who knows?
Why not?
Okay, so you had stopped at the base of Dragon's Reach to purchase cheese. That quarter of an hour cheese-related interlude done. You presumably begin trooping back up. The view from up here is pretty spectacular. You can see almost all of Whiterun arrayed out beneath you, and from the city's position on the on its elevated hill, and indeed from this high up, you can even see a fair amount of the greater Whiterun hold around you. The surrounding Taiga to the west, north, and south, Riverrun further south from that, and actually, as you look south, in the distance, a long black pillar of smoke.
I forgot about that. That's a thing, isn't it?
Long pillars of black smoke are a whole thing?
They're an old thing when there's a fucking dragon that's just destroyed an entire town.
Yeah.
That dragon needs to pay some reparations for property damage.
Alright, you can ask it.
That, I mean, I hate to say it, but if Alduin agreed to be tried in court, if he can pay the fine...
This is why people, we need speech 100.
Here, you have trespassed against Skyrim and her people. Pay the fine or go to jail.
I got an arrow to the knee once.
You violated the law.
I promise you this. No, I won't promise you this, but I was about to say, yeah, if you ever go to prison, you're waking up in a cell with Alduin in the next one. But no.
Are we ever going to get an NPC who says, I took an arrow to the knee once?
Depends how many guards you talk to. Mostly you sass them. And you have to look like an adventurer as well for them to actually feel like saying that, and mostly you look like vagrants. The only two who look like adventurers really are Arnulf and Revere. The Khajiits look like various flavors of cats and or servants. And Yuhnbric. Well, I hate that we keep using the term and are rapidly making it a thing, but Yuhnbric just looks like a travelling nerd. Jesus Christ. If we ever get to... Is it Winterhold? Winterhold, isn't it? Yeah, if we ever get to Winterhold, the anti-nerd city, you're going to have a time.
The anti-nerd city with all the nerds in the college.
That's why they're anti-nerd. Because they used to have a city until the college dropped it into the sea.
Hey, that's only a little bit their fault.
So
the city really does not like nerds.
The survivors really do not know.
That makes a lot of sense. That does make... So how much of the city survived?
None. Well, that's not true. The college where the nerds lived.
So, let me get this straight. The people who used to live in the city did not like it when the nerds dropped the city into the sea. Mm-hmm. Then they moved back or stayed around where the nerds were in the hopes they wouldn't then drop them into the sea again?
No, the few survivors who are left live in what is essentially a permanent refugee camp at the entrance to where the college is.
That does sound pretty shitty, to be fair.
It's pretty crappy all round. Most people emigrated or died, either in the Cataclysm or shortly after, and the few who are left are like, they're mostly people who are tied there for some reason. Like, my family has lived here forever. Because Winterhold, up until it exploded, up until it dropped into the sea, was one of the oldest cities in Skyrim. I think it might even be where they landed.
It's the oldest. Yeah, because it's right up in the northeast, isn't it?
Straight up was the oldest city. It's not necessarily even the college's fault that it fell into the sea, but it was always very suspicious. It's a shame they don't have the ruins in the water, I don't think. Because I always thought that would have been cool.
The college is sitting there during the fucking press conference about what's gone on. It's like, sure, blame the wizards.
So, you finish making your way up to Dragon's Reach, and just before we end the session, have just about enough time to enter through the open but not too open doors. They're like ajar enough for a man to get through, which means that Catclop can just about squeeze it. To a cry of, Jesus fucking Christ, who brought a saber-tooth into the castle?
No, it's Catclop.
And
I shout out. He takes offence to that, you know.
And that seems like at that cry of guards is a good place to leave it till next week.
Guards.
Okay. So, reminders. Is there anything anyone wants noted for next week? I think obviously the first one is the guards of Dragon's Reach have just been called on.
Doemba.
Catclop, there we go. I had to check your name and then remember that's why I don't check your name.
Say that your name is Doemba, but we saw what you did to the last person who called you Doemba.
Very true.
Even I would like a reminder that I need to go to Dragon's Reach because the discounted prices I can't afford. So I need to go on a quest to get money or resources.
You need money again.
I have more money than anyone in this group. They just
but it's
don't
not
know.
enough.
So Yuhnbric wants a quest from the Jarl at Dragon's Reach so he can afford to make things at the forge.
Can you put in ask about the cart, please?
Yes.
For the love of God.
Needs to ask about their lost cart.
Can we put a reminder in that me and Arnulf are waiting for a quest from the companions tomorrow?
That's also very fair. Arnulf and Revere need to go back to the companions for their intro quests tomorrow. And they'd even call it a quest and everything. Probably. Maybe. Anything else? Oh, Creed, if you didn't add that wheel of cheese to your inventory, you can.
I did.
Cool. I just assume that most of your inventory is actually carried on Catclop, but
Yeah.
I assume most of your inventory is actually cheese.
At this point, yes.
How many cheese chunks does a cheese wheel equate
A
to?
wheel of cheese.
No,
it's
like
a large
10?
wheel of cheese.
I mean,
No,
a
more
wheel
than
of
10.
cheese has got to be at least 3 or 4 kilograms, right? And how much does the average house cat weigh? Like
About
3 or 4 kilograms.
So it's one use worth of. It's 100 cheese chunks. Why not?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Creed literally has staff for this sort of thing.
Well, until Carl gets back.
No, I mean, he's got,
Realised
well,
I ended up spending 20 septims of our money on cheese.
yeah, but Carl,
I was gonna
Carl
say,
is
like-
the staff. That's the point.
Like,
Oh, that's-
I have no money left. I spent the last of it on the rooms last night.
You're a fucking horse cat. You shouldn't have spent any money so far.
Oh
He
wait,
still
did we
needs
spend
to
money
sleep,
on the
Jesus.
rooms last night?
Yes, I did.
Was that our looted money? If so,
You
I'll
actually
spend-
haven't
No.
stayed the night. You got in, booked your rooms yet, so you haven't.
Oh,
had
sorry,
them.
yeah. So I paid for the rooms for 2 nights.
Fair. Any other reminders for next week?
I mean, unless the guy who at the forge, we get along like this. We're like this.
Yeah.
Possibly Khajiit petting zoo? Question mark.
God damn it, young Nicholas.
Still an option. Still an option.
Let me whore my body out for
If,
money.
if we have to whore out our heads, fair be it.
You're a terrifyingly large cat monster. Oh, that said, everyone watched Tiger King, right? So clearly there is a market for this.
And the guard,
Yes,
the
there
guard did straight up go for some scritches straight away.
Did.
I mean,
I
the
didn't
guard
appreciate
did, but he's also the first person to not react with utter terror to you.
I would like to say that I went up with scritches and I did get pounded to the ground.
That's
Because you
also
slapped
true.
my ass.
Yeah, but
actually
you
sound
kind of
bad.
have a very slappable
You know what?
ass.
No, we're not going anywhere near that one. But you do look 100% like a saber-toothed cat, and they are endemic to this region of Skyrim. So you just look like a local apex predator. In fact, the local apex predator.
Look at me, I have an apex predator on a leash. We both have forward-facing eyes, so we clearly can't hunt each other. Yo.
Fair. Not that evolution is a thing in Elder Scrolls. Any other reminders for next week? No? Cool. Okay. In that case, feedback. Anything you liked, anything you disliked, anything you'd like to see more of or less of next time.
I'd like to see more Hannibal Dunmer.
Yes.
You gotta cover them with mushrooms buried in the dirt, and then they're delicious.
You want to see more... What was his name? Athas? Athas. Because I've been looking up... Athis, here we go. I've been looking up these NPCs as we go. It's like, oh, they have this subplot and they're involved with that quest, and there's not as many as you'd think. But yeah, Athis is like... He does have quests, right? But he's linked to almost all of the generic quests. Like, if you need someone to marry, if you need someone for the blades, if you need a companion to just carry all your shit, all he does is be generic-y.
Oh, imagine him marrying you. Standing in as the priest.
I was about to say, I thought you meant when you said marry you, I thought you meant getting married to him.
Yeah, no, he can marry you. He is an element.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it's
thought you
one of
meant
those-
he
well,
married
he won't-
people.
He won't anymore, not with his ruined genitals.
Jesus. I mean, standard health potions are a thing, actually, so his genitals can take a theoretically unlimited amount of beatings.
That's a horrifying yet
Of a
reassuring thought.
a certain degree beyond which the point that his genitals are just one shot.
There are fates worse than death.
Fun. Grim. Incredibly grim. All of you. Any other feedback? Really? Not even young Nicholas?
It was good.
No, it's fine. But I hope you know that when you get Carl back, you're probably not getting another Dowin bar whatsoever. It'll be Catclops all the way down again.
You've said it and you've admitted it's my name. I'm happy.
The party literally saw you straight up try and murder a guy whilst he was calling you Doewimbar. We're going to keep calling you Catclop.
No, you saw it. He slapped my ass.
We're Nords. That's kind of normal for us.
Well, actually, I hate to say it, but they would have only heard both. He came up from behind you all, so all they heard was a cry of Doewimbar, a hearty slap, and then you pounced on the guy.
Dio did express I didn't like being called
Nick,
that.
you need to stop being such a dick, is what I'm talking about.
We're not. We're not.
Screw you.
The point being, there isn't really a point, but we've reached our Let's Bully Young Nicholas quota for the session, I feel. Questions? Anything anyone was narratively unsure of in that session?
I was, so I'm not gonna lie, I was unsure of how we got into those fights with the companions, and I'm somewhat unsure of what the companions are still.
That's
in terms of what they are in the present day, not in the past.
So that they're functionally a fighters guild.
Okay, because the way I thought it was, I thought they were like an exploring guild.
They're kind of both. So their role is basically to be meme Vikings, and they nowadays mostly do actually quite nice things, with one big hidden exception. But their history is one of blood and nightmare, basically. But everyone treats them really positively. It's quite strange.
So why did we get into all those fights again? Like, at what point did we?
I started jumping up and down when they were sparring.
Yeah, that
was this when we were going up to Dragon's Keep?
Yeah, you were walking up to Dragon's Reach, and their mead hall, Jorvaskor, is in the Cloud District, so they walk past it on the way, and it's it's one of the most famous buildings in Skyrim, basically. So Revere, fanboy that he is, immediately recognised it and was, "Oh, companions!" And rushed over and asked if he could join, and they said, "Yeah, you just need to punch a guy hard enough," and then produced a guy, and punching began. It did happen very quickly, so it was quite a blink and you'll miss it thing. But their standards for entry are worryingly low.
Okay, cool. Because I was there kind of like... I feel like I was active before and after the fighting, but I wasn't sure what was happening during the fighting.
That's fair. Yes, I'm not really sure what to do on that front.
It's not you bad. It's my bad. I just probably wasn't paying attention as much as I needed to.
It was a blink and you'll miss it thing. To be fair, if you just phased out for a couple of sentences, then it could easily have been.
Don't worry about it, man. I don't think there's anything you could personally do about it as a GM. I think it was me. Don't worry about it.
Fair. Cool. Any other narrative questions?
No. Otherwise, I said it was a really fun session, and I really enjoyed what happened.
I'm glad. I'm also, sorry, I guess minor feedback, but I'm also really glad we got a bit of Creed content in there at the end, because I felt slightly bad that we did lots of other people things all session. Young Nicholas even got to cast a spell and be the brains of the operation.
That's worrying.
And then there was nothing else really happened for Creed. He mostly just sat and slept on people.
Well, at least I got my cheese rations.
You did get an immense
Creed, you will always get your cheese rations. You will always get them.
It's
now.
probably
I
worth
promise you
pointing
this.
out that as a cat you are somewhat lactose intolerant. Meaning that Creeds, that cheese presumably gives you the horrible shits of all the possible food stuff.
Spends an entire session violently shitting everywhere.
I can vouch for this. I'm not farting.
Oh,
Fabs pointed this out 2 sessions ago, and I was there like, I don't want to point this out. I think this could be funny at one point or another.
I don't know. I don't want to be, because that's real world history, right? And there's nothing to say that Khajiits can't eat cheese and milk.
To be fair, Khajiits are just cat people. They're not cats themselves, right? And even the cat-like Khajiits are not cats.
Yeah.
They're Khajiits.
Well,
But it is also quite funny. So we'll see how it goes. Basically, I guess maybe if you do subsist on an all cheese diet, we might have to address it at some point.
Have you ever seen that
Massively
dog?
obese cat.
Have you ever seen that dog from the Borrowers movie?
No.
The one who has the constant farts. That's what he's going to end up as.
oh god.
It'll also be
Like, you're going to try and
massively
stealth to break into a shop, and you say,
Just like, sat on the back of Arnulf with fucking Catclop wandering along at face level behind and constantly farting right into his. Anywho, cool. So XP. Four. Plot progression. Do you feel you made any plot progression this session?
I think we made some, maybe not significant, but we progressed.
We gained side quests.
We have gone approximately 100 to 200 meters closer to the Jarl.
Yeah, we got into the Cloud District and we got into the Jarl's place, palace, whatever, Dragon's Reach.
I would say we're 200 meters closer to plot progression.
All right, I'll give you partial for it. Cool.
We're moving in the right
Character
direction.
development. Does anyone feel like they developed their character this session?
I feel like I developed to revere a bit. He's getting closer and closer to, getting involved in all aspects of Nord culture.
Because Skyrim is for, the Nords.
Exactly.
That's fair. Anyone else? Okay. So we'll give partial then as revere.
I feel like I don't know if I progressed the overall plot, but my personal plot, I feel like I progressed with
it's character development, so not plot progression necessarily, but like how well-rounded your character is.
In which case, I would say again the same with the Forge Master. I progressed to the point where I knew what I could and could not expect out of that forge, and then have now moved on to discovering what the Jarl can give me.
Okay, I get it. So you're sort of starting to be a little bit less like a fish out of water and more a fish that's flopping into and out of the water.
Eventually, I'm going to try and make my own water, but, for the meantime.
It's the fish violently urinating. Yeah, no, that's fair. So we'll give full then for that, as we've got two doing it. So Yuhnbric slowly acclimatizing to the fourth era.
See, the trick is to find comfort in what you know and ignore everything else.
Excellent role-playing. Does anyone feel like anyone else role-played particularly well that session?
I think Benji and Callum's fighting was very good.
Fair. Anyone else?
I'm going to go with Creed at the end of the session.
I feel like Nick did a good job of jumping on me. In the sense that I was somewhat expecting it and then it happened, but it was in character.
Catclop.
So he progressed himself from being an introvert murderous dickhead to being an extrovert murderous dickhead.
I mean,
Big love, Nick. Big love. Look at my heart. Look at my heart I'm sending you right now.
he's not the strongest Deirdre, but there is a Deirdre of cannibalism.
I also don't mean the word dickhead. I'm just saying that for effect, not for actual insult.
And of course,
Prince.
we're missing out on the obvious one here, which is it's Ollie's birthday. Happy birthday, Ollie!
Thank you.
And per the occasional tradition, that does mean birthday XP. So we'll give a bonus 20 for that as well.
Was that Benji singing like a strained birthday? Because I'll take it. Thank you, Benji.
Cool. So that's
250 XP.
I make that out to be 170 experience points for session number 4.
That sounds like 70 below what I was saying, but I'll take it.
I mean, yeah, quick maths.
100 and what was it again?
170. Cool. Which means it's time for everyone's favourite part of the session. It's the highlights. Ollie's the birthday boy. Ollie, do you have any highlights for that session?
I mean, I like the whole slapping the arse of Nick and then Nick pounding me to the ground. I thought that was quite funny. And I mean, I know this is one about my character and the characters I interact with, but I actually really enjoyed the whole chatting with the Forge Master. Like, again, I really like the whole idea my character knows at least somewhat what I'm talking about with people who also know somewhat what they're talking about. I think that's a really fun dynamic, and I really enjoy that.
Shared interests are always good.
Yeah, exactly.
I like Eorlund Grey-Mane. He's surrounded by a lot of fairly complex and/or dickish people, but he's one of the nicer characters in Skyrim, and quite uncomplaining, considering that he is reputedly and almost certainly the best blacksmith that Skyrim has to offer. And most of what he does is the same shit over and over again for the companions, because that's what they need.
So in which case, like, I really enjoy this guy's company. Like I can feel like there is, like, if not friendship, like respectfulness that will spring from there at some point. Like, we are both not I mean, I'm not a master crafter, but I can introduce him to concepts he doesn't know.
Let's not forget, with the extinction of your race, you are, apart from Yagrim, assuming that he's not dead, which he technically might be, I guess, if he got crushed, but you are probably the foremost rocket scientist remaining on Tamriel. So
that's what happens when you try and start a space program at moving time and space. You become the Doctor.
I think the Imperials had a space program, but the funding's gone at this point. I didn't play Oblivion, which I'm pretty sure is the game that has it.
It's the game that mentions it. You don't do anything with it.
Any other highlights, Ollie?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Cool. Callum, do you have any highlights for that session?
Oh, I got to lead with Hannibal Dunmer.
God damn it. Any other highlights?
Also, you nut in his mouth.
God.
Oh no!
You nut in his mouth. It was you nut him in the mouth.
Either way, you nut him in the
Like,
mouth.
same difference at the end of the day, right?
Scree. Any other highlights,
No, I'll leave it to others.
Someday we'll go to Morrowind, and then I'll get to scree at you in Cliff Racer form. Then you'll all see.
All nut in all their mouths.
As you drop 1,000 unit jumping scroll.
I think when we played that game, we had Cliff Racers, and they were like the easiest things to kill. But the shtick was whenever you killed one, its death screams alerted 2 more.
The hydras of the Morrowind universe.
No,
You have no idea.
Cliff Racers
And
are the best
They will
thing.
never stop coming.
I will find you, and I will scream. Oh, Creed. Okay, so this is probably slight misinformation. So these guys in Morrowind they were like a flying lizard enemy. They were a low-tier enemy who cruised at just above visible height most of the time, and had a huge aggro radius. So you wouldn't see them, but they'd see you in the distance, get pissed off at your existence, and start chasing you, quietly. And Morrowind was fairly seamless. There weren't many cells in the outer world. So what would happen is you traverse this huge span of terrain, slowly accruing cliff racers the whole time, and then stop in a town to chat to people, and they'd slowly catch up to you. And then they'd just start descending from the heavens and pecking at your face. This mound of hateful cliff racers, angry lizard pigeons, determined to erase you from existence because you walked within 100 meters of their fucking nest, and you're scum for it. It's kind of beautiful. The guy who, in the lore, the guy who somehow erases them, wipes the species out, is sainted for it.
He's in Skyrim.
No, he's dead. He dies in the Oblivion Crisis.
Yeah, but his ghost is in Skyrim.
Yeah, his ghost is ghost.
Really?
Yeah.
You could meet him and be like, "You're a fucking baller, mate."
Yeah, St. Jaya, fan favourite. Morrowind MVP. And Morrowind had strong competition for the MVP.
He's actually the very first character you meet in Morrowind.
He is. He's the other prisoner from the boat, and it's kind of... it's the stupidest thing, and it's pure fan service, but I fucking love it.
So
The boat had two of the most important fucking people on
It
it.
did. It had the reincarnation of the founder of the nation and Saint Jayab, whose appellation I forget. Cool. Let's say Benji. Do you have any highlights for that session?
I think of a way to phrase it. It's like, your balls, they are already dead.
I don't think you really delivered a one-liner at the time. You just kicked him skywards in the bollocks. I can write kicked him skywards in the bollocks if that covers it for you.
The phrase, did I just see his foot?
I don't think that conveys anything.
No. Yeah, skyward in the bollocks. I'll do.
Fair. Any other highlights?
Saint Jib.
Jayab.
Jayab. Yes.
I heard them say.
The Wimbar is Catclop forever.
I think it's Job actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and his epithet is Eradicator of the Winged Menace.
Yes.
But yes, Catclop is Dowimbar. Dowimbar is Catclop forever.
Spray.
You all know he's slowly moving towards snapping, right? It's Catclop forever. Cool. Anything else?
Old man puts up good fight.
Bit self-congratulatory?
Yeah, I was trying to think.
Congratulatory,
It was.
but
I thought it
it's
was.
fine.
I thought it was funny that I got more successes than Callum did, but it's only because I got one big one at the end.
Yeah, because he definitely had a much. It wasn't. Well, I suppose it was an easier fight, but
Random shlubs beat trained professionals.
Yeah.
random shlubs beat trained professionals. I mean, it was their low-tier mooks, but their low-tier mooks are still supposed to be pretty good. Cool. Any other highlights?
Revere fanboying.
Yeah, that was quite funny, actually. Literally bouncing from foot to foot. Any other highlights?
I'll let it go, but I do have one more because I get the feeling someone else is going to say it. So
All right, we'll loop back round to you at the end. Creed, do you have any highlights for that session?
And Khajiit and his companions with Nord one-liners. As Callum beat him down, talking about how great a Nord he is.
Revere's fighting words.
Yeah.
Revere's fighting bants. Fair. Any other highlights?
Yeah, I couldn't think of a great way to word it, but when the guards just let Yuhnbric in for a laugh.
Oh yes.
Guards let Yuhnbric into the
nerd
Cloud district so he can get his arse beat. Yeah, no, so if Revere hadn't challenged to the fight there and Yuhnbric had just gone in and started spouting off nerd shit straight at, what's his name, Sior?
Oh, actually, Ewan, can I add a highlight?
Yeah, sure.
Teaching a child pickpocket a lesson.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
We have nerds and jocks.
I've just realised that, yeah, sure. Nerds and jocks. Jocks? Yeah, jocks,
Well,
not
just
just jocks. I've just realised that we went through the market and I didn't do Skyrim's most memorable citizen.
Nazim!
No, not even Nazim, writhing in the filth.
Oh! How
What's
could I
writhing
forget?
in the filth?
there's a priest of Talos.
You know what?
in-
Let no context. We'll get to it. Callum or Benji, feel free to poke me next time if I forget again. But it's a beautiful, terrible speech, Ollie, and it's pure.
There
fun.
is a video.
Oh dear. Cool. What the hell was I going to say? Yeah, no. If Revere hadn't started the fight there, God, I've forgotten his name immediately after looking it up. Yeah, Sior probably would have ended up punching Yuhnbric because he has a short temper and he's a bit of a dick and doesn't have time for your nerd shit. And you're an elf. And the companions are
I'm back in a sec.
great on that. Any other highlights, Creed?
No, that's it.
Fair. Yeah, Nicholas, do you have any highlights for that session?
No, I think they're all taken actually. Yeah, no, I can't actually think of any.
Alright, fair. Then, on my end, I think I've only... slapping the expensive cheese to the ground.
That was going to be the one I was going to go back round to.
Fair.
But I knew someone was going to get it.
And then the only other one I can think of is, I think we got through, apart from a couple of throwaway memes, I'm pretty sure we got through that whole session without Thumb's comments. Does anyone?
Yeah. The actual session, yeah, there's some pre-thumb comments, but
Yeah, no, it only took us 7.5 hours to get to a session-ish, to get to a session which didn't have young Nicholas misunderstanding what thumbs are. And I know I'm going to wind up listening to the video back and going, well, that's actually factually incorrect. He absolutely did, and I've just blanked it out of my memory, but I'm putting it down. Finally had a session with no thumbs drama. Glorious. Cool. I think that, yeah, we've covered everyone then. So, thank you all for a lovely session number 4. I will see you all next week for the dramatic inquesting of a bunch of quests that I now need to write because multiple coming up and you all need content and I can't just play Path of Exile for 2.5 hours before session again. Does anyone have any closing words for the recording?
Oh, skeet, skeet, motherfucker. Oh, skeet, skeet, goddamn.
Oh, okay, anyone who isn't Ollie, please.
And they nutted him in the mouth.